So tonight is the NBA draft. Big Sales here. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. So many other options for you. We appreciate you guys each and every single day, and gals coming here. Please hit the like button. All super chats go to the top. But so tonight is the NBA draft, right? I don't really care. Not starting with NBA, believe me, because I want to make sure we have some people watching. So I'm not going to talk NBA here. However, think about this. Green Bay got 600,000 people. Green Bay, Wisconsin had 600,000 people for the NFL draft. Where is the NBA in that? I mean, there is no buzz. Now, look, we'll check in tonight and see what the Sixers, the Heat, with the Celtics and some other teams will do that we're interested in, Lakers. But, I mean, 600,000 people showed up at the NFL draft, a non-contact event. A non-contact event. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. Okay, Sills, who got you in more trouble at Miami, Jerome Brown or Michael Irvin? Since you're going there, Kyle, I appreciate it. I believe today is like the 32nd or 35th anniversary. I can't remember on what that number is. 1992. It's been like 32 years since Jerome Brown died. See that jersey back there that Xander got me? 32 years since Jerome left us. And I got that call. The tears are gone. Tears are gone. You know, Kyle, there's nothing but great memories. I've posted a bunch of stuff today in celebration of Jerome passing. And he loved being an Eagle. Told me all the time. He loved playing in front of all the Philadelphia Eagle fans. He loved wearing the Kelly green. He just did. He loved being a Hurricane, and he loved being a Philadelphia Eagle. He just loved it. And, I had so much fun playing with him and growing with him. It's incredible. June's not a very good month for me. I lost Len Bias, who was a friend. And Jerome was killed on this day 30-plus years ago now. Wow. Incredible. Hall of Fame player. Will Jalen Carter be that good? Maybe. He surely has a chance. I've seen that guy do things. I've told you stories about the Oklahoma game. But just being around him and the fun I had going up to Brooksville or hanging out, eating crayfish at the beach, going to Liberty City. Jerome was like Charles Barkley. Like Charles Barkley. Like that kind of personality. He was a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, there was no getting around it. Just a first ballot Hall of Famer. Charlie. I've told you guys the story. I'm sitting at my grandma's table where my wife was my girlfriend at the time. And I remember getting the call. I believe it was Ira Kaufman from the Tampa Tribune or somebody from AP. Maybe somebody from, you know what? It may have been Reuben Franks. Now that I think about it, it may have been, because I think it could have been somebody from Philly too. And they said, have you heard the news? And I was like, no, we hadn't. We had just gotten to Connecticut. And, you know, Jerome died. And I was like, wow. So we immediately went down. By the way, I posted the death card or the funeral service card on my Twitter page at X. Okay? You claim to have a lot of dead black friends. Len Bias, I need proof. Rip Jerome Brown. As a matter of fact, Spit, because of that comment, my chances of you ever talking to you again will be 0. So if you want to find another show right now, you go right ahead. Who claims to have known dead guys? Just do me a favor. You don't have to be here. You will never be called on again as long as I do this show. You'll always remember guys like that. You just really will. By the way, again, one thing that dude just said that's ridiculous. I don't have black friends. I have friends. I never looked at it like black or white. I never talked like that. Okay? I never have. You get the craziest comments sometimes. I mean, unbelievable. Prove that your dead friend was your friend. It's okay. It's not the first time assholes have said things to me like that. Really is. Hey, you made his day, though. It's all good. Chances of me ever having a conversation with that guy ever again. And again, I appreciate all of you in here. It's 0. And I hope he stays. He could be ignored. Because you're not getting my attention. I don't need it. I don't need to prove fucking anything to anybody. People have always hated on me because I'm loud and because I'm proud. It's all good. Missed it live, but cool to see DDP come on here for an hour. What Eagle player do you see taking the biggest jump? Great topic. We'll get to that. Biggest Eagle to take a jump. Like that. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely, bro. Not a problem. Got 1,000 people in here. Okay? I hate when Sills says he don't have black friends. No shame saying, hey, wait a minute, Akbar. You look at your friends being black and white? I did before I met Jerome Brown. He cured me of that. You know? Akbar? I mean, I did before I went to Miami and I met Jerome. I had black friends. When I left Miami, I had friends. And a best friend. I loved the man. I did. I posted a bunch of things and pictures of me and him on my X account. You can see him. So today, 32 years ago, we lost a truly giant. Philadelphia lost one of its favorite sons. And I will tell you one more time, I will never in a million years ever forget days like this. Because now they're happy for me. Same thing with Len Bias. Len died on the 19th. And Jerome died on the 25th. June's not great. So, again, guys, hit the like button. We appreciate all of you coming in here. We really do. And some are going to say things. I probably should say this to Spike. Spike, if that's how you feel, no problem. You know what? I got nothing but love for you, brother. I shouldn't be like that. I got nothing but love for you, dude. And I appreciate you being here. And obviously, if you didn't trust me, you wouldn't be here every day. So we welcome you in. And I shouldn't say that on a day like this. Okay? Nothing but love for you, dude. Hit that like button. So I've got to do something here. And I got a list here. Oh, by the way, on Birds 365, I heard a guy say he does. I love List. Oh, I love him. I think they're the greatest thing in the world for sports talk. I think they're one of the greatest things in the history of content for sports talk radio. Are you kidding? They're the greatest thing on the planet because it's other people's opinions that you get to look at and figure out whether or not you agree or disagree. I love it. I think they're one of the greatest sitting around. And here's the greatest. Remember this, guys. Whenever you hear a host, and my young guy, Xander, he knows it now. Whenever you hear a host, radio, streaming, TV, anybody ever say this, we're in a dead time, I already know that you're not a very good host. I already know that. You don't even have to present your content. I already know you suck. You will never hear me say that. Every show, in my opinion, hey, some days the content is high, some days the content is low. But at the end of the day, the entertainment and the presentation will never be different. That's the difference with me and you. I don't have downtime. There is no such thing. Those are the shittiest hosts in broadcasting who say that. We're kind of in that, that time period. And I heard people say it today, that time period before trend. And I'm like, bro, try to be creative then. What host tells their audience, well, I'm not going to be very entertaining today because there's not a lot of shit to talk about. How crazy is it? Hey, don't come in my restaurant. The food is not as good as it usually is during the regular season. We got like knockoff ham sandwiches and we got tuna fish sandwiches instead of steaks. Hey, who says that? Oh, my God. I love listening. I immediately know. Oh, my God. One of Len Bias's best friends. I knew Adrian Branch very well. I think Ben Coleman was on that Terps team too. Okay? Absolutely, man. Hey. Dude, no disrespect, but the only time I ever heard of the guy was when Xander brought him up. Xander's made Xander in that show, and quite frankly, this network makes a lot of people famous. They go on to really good things when they come on here. I mean, that's all I know. It's like a springboard for people to get jobs in Philly. Congratulations. Get this. Not everybody can get a job here. You notice that? How you doing? All right. Wait a minute here. So let me get to this. This is fabulous. Okay. So I love List. I don't care. Okay? Hit the like button here. So, and supers go to the top. Dude, Jerome was absolutely sensational. Anybody wants to bring comments up about JB, Keith, the funniest dude you'll ever meet in your entire life. One of the most charismatic guys you'll ever meet, and one of the most intense football players you'll ever be around. It was a privilege to play next to him. It was a privilege to know him. I mean, I tell people the story. My wife, she shows up at the funeral with me. And sitting in between her, I was sitting next to Lonzo Highsmith, and I was sitting next to Seth Joyner at the funeral. And this is years before I really even knew Seth, when Seth would come on our show. But now that he's not paid, he doesn't. Or I should say this. Seth's not my friend now because the Krauses aren't paying him. So he was my friend when they were paying him. So I guess, I don't know, something happened because I don't know what changed. But anyway, it's probably because he gets paid with somebody else. That's cool. I don't mind somebody chasing dollars and bills. That's cool. I mean, more power to him. It's all good. Got no problem with that. Yeah. And my wife's sitting in between Cortez Kennedy and Russell Maryland, and all three of them are crying. It's crazy. Birds 365 is the kids channel. This is the adult channel. No. That I get a lot of content, Kyle, from that show. Are you kidding me? I get a ton of content. Danner's doing a great job. Tell you this, it's a massive upgrade from Jody. And Jody's got a gigantic name in Philadelphia sports talk. Xander's improved the show. I mean, that's a fact. And on top of that, that dude, the weekend guy too, he made it better than the weekend guy that they had on this channel. And I don't mind the guy. I think he does a decent show, but Xander's improved it. Okay? Sills, that was Jerome's best thing you like. Sills, what was the best thing you liked about him? Great question. His flaws. His flaws. He had many of them. He could be lazy at times. He could be crude. He could be reckless. Ended up ending his life being reckless. Yeah. You know, I mean, you just always had, and he had so many flaws, but he exposed himself that way. Like here, I've told some of you the story. So Jerome's in my quad where we all lived. I had Jerome, Alonzo Highsmith, Daryl Fullington. I don't think Michael Irvin. I think Michael lived below us. I'm thinking there was another guy named J.C. Penney. I know, named after the department store. Jerome comes running in. We had this milk container up front. He has these automatic weapons. He goes, I got to put them somewhere. I'm like, dude, not in here. You get us all busted. And he's like, cops are coming up the steps. He puts them in the milk. Remember those old milk container things you had in front of your house where the guys would deliver milk and all that stuff, right? Right. Put them all in the milk things, right? And sure enough, they come in, they search the room. I'm like, okay. So the cop walks out, he lifts his foot, picks up the container, lifts the hood up. Sure enough, there's these automatic, there's a Glock, there's like brass knuckles, there's all this other stuff. I sit there and the cop looks at me and I just start shaking my head. He looked at me and he goes, are any of these yours? And you know what you have to say? I'm going to have to talk to my coach. I mean, I don't know if I should say anything right now. So the cops looked at me and they looked at all of us in the room because we didn't want to pin it all on Jerome. Jerome got kicked off campus for that. So we didn't want to peg him on it. We're like, so I got my eyes closed the whole. I'm so fucking pissed off that he did this. He knows it. He's standing there looking at me and I'm like, then I start looking at him and I'm like, I was so angry. And after the whole fiasco started, we had to go to the coach's office and Coach Johnson's in there and, you motherfuckers, what the fuck are you doing? You know that everyone's watching us. Oh my God, we got read up and down the riot act. Holy cow, I'd never been hollered like that. And Jimmy's not that guy. You fucking know you're going to ruin every one of you. And oh my God, it was, and I'm sitting there, I didn't say shit. Nobody else did too. So we're walking back to the dorm. We get in the dorm room. Jerome comes in there, man. He starts crying. Because I love you guys, man. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean this. I'll move off campus. I go, nobody wants you to move, you asshole. You can't do shit like this, man. You're the captain of our fucking team. God. And I was so mad. I stormed out. He ran after me. He's like, hey, thanks for not narking me out. I go, fuck you. Get me busted too. I'm trying to make it to the NFL too, guy. He goes, I know. I'm like, hey. This is a true story. This is a true story. Jerome Brown came to my home. It was the night that Vinny Testaverde won the Heisman Trophy. And Jerome came to my home. It was like 9:30 at night. Lonzo Highsmith, who's going to be the third pick in the draft. Jerome was going to be the ninth pick. I was a year behind Jerome. And he knocked on the door. Dude, this was an Italian area. Ain't no black guys in this area. No, nothing like that. So he's knocking on the door. And I go, what are you doing? He goes, hey, we were in the neighborhood. And I said, he goes, you talked about your folks' food all the time. My grandparents hadn't been around a lot of black folks before. Let me tell you the story here. And so I said, get in here. So you got 5 of my teammates. And we're sitting around. And my grandmother pops up. Hey, wow. Because my grandma had gone to games with my aunt. And they knew who these guys were. Vinny wasn't there. Vinny was in New York. And they had just gotten back from the Downtown Athletic Club when he won the Heisman. We sat there. My grandfather went downstairs, must have got 4 or 5 cases of beer. Ballantine, Schaefer, all the shit my grandfather drank. My grandmother got meatballs out. We sat around and we ate in my house probably from 9:30 until 3 o'clock in the morning, drinking beers. My grandfather had such a great time with Jerome and with Michael Irvin was there, as a matter of fact, and had such a great time with Jerome. Jerome was so awesome to my grandpa. And we're walking out. He goes, you got great people here, Sills. So I walk out. My grandfather looked at me and he goes, this guy's a great guy. I go, I've been telling you. It's the greatest lesson I ever got in my life. I got taught life lessons from Jerome. You know, I thought there was white and black. I went to a predominantly white school, Catholic school. I didn't really have a lot of African-American players around me until I went to Miami. That whole thing changed. It was the greatest thing in my life ever happened to me was going to Miami and living with Jerome. It was great. My parents loved, grandparents and aunt loved Jerome. That's why when you see Michael Irvin in here, Michael Irvin is not just a former teammate. Michael Irvin and I have been through so much death of teammates, situations in both our lives. We're brothers, man. We so are. Today, maybe today I'll be reflecting a lot more because today's the anniversary of Jerome dying. But man, just great stuff. So many, a billion memories, all squeezed into 4 years before he passed away. Just a great guy, man. Taken way too soon. My folks loved him. My grandpa, get this, my grandpa grew up My grandpa grew up a Giant fan. He loved the Giants, the New York Giants. But when Jerome Brown, my grandpa rooted for the Eagles because he liked Jerome. And when Jerome passed away, I'll never forget it. We got the phone call, my grandpa. I said, Jerome died. He's like, what? Yo, what a shit. My grandfather's like not very emotional on anything. And he's like, oh, for God's sake. Yeah, my grandfather was even like, man, I go, you got to go. I forget why I was up there. I was up there for something too, because I had brought Kim home with me. And I forget what we were up there for. Maybe somebody was getting married. I don't remember. Maybe Tony Brown, my friend, was getting, I don't remember, but we left the next day. And then we drove over to Brooksville. Yeah. Man, just tremendous. Sills, when do y'all know Jerome Brown was going to be drafted by the Eagles? The year before. When Buddy Ryan came down in 1986, Norman Brayman came over. Okay? Norman Brayman came over. And, Jeff, he practiced his ass off. But you know what could happen to a great player? And I see Jalen Carter do this. Sometimes you're so great, you drift off. And it looks like you're taking plays off. You're not taking plays off. You just start drifting. And you're so good that you just have to be refocused. And when he got refocused, Buddy had to do that many times. And so did Reggie. Reggie was the greatest thing ever happened to him. And Jalen Carter, you could see him drifting sometimes. And I could see Clint hurt. I asked Clint this. I go, he's got a little Jerome in him, doesn't he? He goes, what do you mean? I go, he starts drifting in games, gets away from technique because he's so dominant that, he forgets technique. Once that kid starts playing with technique, he'll be unblockable. He's almost unblockable now. That's how good he is. He's totally almost unblockable now. And if he knows what the hell he's doing in there, he's going to be fucking insane great. I mean, dude, in that league, you have to have technique. The players are too good, no matter how dominant you are. Okay? And so the story on Jerome was, Norman Brayman came over in 86, and he used to come over to our practices and watch Jerome all the time. Remember, he's still alive, and he owns the number one car dealership, Cadillac-wise, in America. And they were going to do whatever it took to draft Jerome Brown. Norman Brayman wanted him. Norman Brayman actually liked Jerome more than he liked Reggie. And I'll say it again to you. I think the passing of Jerome Brown is the reason that Norman Brayman got rid of Reggie White, because he didn't like Reggie as much as he liked Jerome. Ask any of those players. He liked Jerome better as a person. Okay? He did. He didn't like Reggie as much. Because Reggie was bigger than life. Well, so was Jerome. But Norman had a better relationship. And get this, I don't really think Reggie ever really had an open relationship with Norman Brayman. Jerome had known him since his freshman year. He had known him since his freshman year at Miami. And when he bought the team from Toads, and he got that team, everyone knew Jerome Brown, maybe even his sophomore year, we knew he was going to be an Eagle. I mean, no doubt about it. All right. So let me get into this. I'm a big list guy. I don't care what people say. I love it. So NFL.com. Now remember something. I didn't make this list up. I like telling you guys that. Hit the like button. Supers go to the top here. They rank the top offenses in pro football. the top offenses in the NFL, where would you put your Eagles in the top offenses? Well, here's what they have. I'll go from one down. You ready? All right. Number one, the Buffalo Bills. Okay, I mean, really? I mean, the O-line's kind of okay. I mean, the receivers are nobody to sneak at. I get the quarterback is insane. So NFL.com, which votes on the number one players, I wonder where Hurts is going to come on that list this year. He wasn't very high last year. I wonder where he comes in on that list this year. Okay? Again, this ain't me. The number two offense in the NFL, according to NFL.com, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, and Mike Evans, and Bucky Irvin, and Baker Mayfield come in at number two. I mean, Buffalo Bills, and also now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Seals, correct me on this. Did Jerome meet at a camp at the University of Tennessee? He may have. I think I know that. I think so. Yeah, too bad he kicks the shit out of the Eagles. How you doing? So far, the NFL.com has the number one offense in the NFL heading into the 2025 season. The Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number two. Here's number three. The Eagles got to be in here somewhere, right? Top five. The Baltimore Ravens come in at number three. Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson. All right. I got it. Surely the Eagles are number four. Hang on. It's the Washington Commanders. How you doing? Funny. Everybody in Philly, I won't name names, thinks that they signed bums and they're taking a step back. The NFL.com, which is players, thinks the Washington Commanders have the fourth best offense in pro football. So here's your top four. The Bills, the Bucks, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Washington Commanders. Surely the Eagles are number five. No, it's the Detroit Lions. Okay? I mean, here's your top five according to NFL. This ain't big sales either. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. By the way, we will have today Mark Holmes, and we will have also the legendary Philly 500. That'll be at 4:30. Xander will join us at 3:30. So hang on here. NFL.com. So wait a minute. Are you guys going to believe the list when it comes out for the top 100 players? If Hurts is high on that list, are you going to believe that then? Either you believe in the NFL.com or you don't. Okay, I mean, here's the top five according to those guys. Buffalo Bills, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 2, the Baltimore Ravens at number 3, the Washington Commanders at number 4, and here comes number 5. It's the Detroit Lions. They come in at number 5. So wait a minute here. So the top 5 offenses, where's Philly? Got to be 6 at least. No, it's the Denver Broncos. Holy shit. Hang on. Bo Nix is number 6. So you got two dudes in their second year heading in NFL.com. They got Bo Nix at number 6. So here's your top 6. Dude, I'm serious. I looked at this list and I was like, yeah, I don't believe it. I had to go back and look a couple times. Okay? The Buffalo Bills are 1. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2. Baltimore's 3, Washington's 4, Detroit's 5, the Denver Broncos with Bo Nix are 6, and there they are. The 7th best offense in pro football is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I don't know about you. Obviously, they're taking a shit on your passing game, which means you're taking a shit on your quarterback. I mean, they won the Super Bowl running people over. I get it. Damn. More disrespect for Philly. Hey, Sills, do you think you were destined to cover the Eagles because of the relationship with Brown? I buy that stuff all the time. Okay? I was supposed to take over for the show after Angelo years ago. I almost got the job, but the CBS guys and I just never saw eye to eye. I don't really like the CBS people that are at Odyssey. I don't really have a lot of respect for their radio ear. So I probably polluted that job with, because I didn't want to work for a certain dude that you had at WIP. And the program director at the time I liked, but there was a couple other people like the market manager I didn't like. And I thought he was full of shit. And there was a guy in New York by the name of Mark Chernoff. And Mark Chernoff, by the way, I have receipts on that. I have a contract offer on my email. I should post that one day, don't you think? Would you like to see me post that on my X account? A contract offer for WIP. I have that in WEEI. I had a 3-year contract. And I didn't want to. COVID happened with that EEI job, or I was going to take that job, but COVID happened. So yeah. So hang on here. The Philadelphia Eagles have the 7th best offense according to NFL.com. Green Bay's 8, Cincy's 9, and here's the point I made the other day: the Kansas City Chiefs have the 10th best offense according to NFL.com. Their offense is trash, but they have Mahomes. He does more with less. He does more with less. Now, if I was going to put this offense, okay, I'll take NFL.com's list, and I'll give you mine. No, 7th isn't totally bad, but hang on here. And I'm going to give you mine. And I'm going to do this off the top here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I had to pick the best offense in pro football right now, not the best team, the best offense in pro football, who would I pick? I would pick the Bengals. If I was going to pick the second best, what would I pick? I'm going to pick the Lions. If I'm going to pick the third best, I'm going to put the Eagles in there. Until you can show me you can stop the Eagle run game, the passing game conversation's irrelevant. I mean, Detroit can throw it and run it. So I'm going to put the Eagles third. They have 7th here. I'm not putting them 7th. I'm not putting the Denver Broncos ahead of the Philadelphia Eagle offense with A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley on it. That ain't happening. Okay? It's not happening. Number 4. I'd put Baltimore. Number 5. I'd put the Bucks. Not number 2. Number 6. I'd put Green Bay. Number 7. I'd put the Bills at 7. Not number 1. Number 8. I'd put Denver. Number 9, I'd put Buffalo. And number 10, I'd put Kansas City. Bengals, Lions, Eagles, Baltimore, Buccaneers, Green Bay. Denver at 8, Buffalo 9, Kansas City 10. Yeah. I think the Eagles are in the top 3. Again, some go like this: Cincinnati doesn't have a run game. Well, you don't have a passing game. You might put the Rams. That's a good one, Rico, because of Devontae Adams. You might want to put the Rams on that list. Dude, I don't get Denver. I mean, like, I don't really see a lot of offensive. I don't know where they got that from. Dude, wait a minute. No. What I did, Mr. International, I took their list. Okay? I agree with you guys. I think Rams and Texans are good. Okay? You're down 4 with a minute 30 left. You can pick any offense to get the ball. Who you got? It ain't the Eagles. I mean, it ain't the Eagles. Minute left in the game. The Eagles don't play that kind of ball. The Eagles have the lead with a minute 30. That's not who they have. If I'm going to pick an offense with a minute 30, I got to have a quarterback that can throw the ball and is a good quarterback from the pocket with a minute 30. Not turning it around, handing it off. Minute 30? You're talking offense here. A minute 30. Maybe I would take Philly. That's enough time to run the ball. Because you'd be so worried about running with him running it, too. You might take, hey, Joe Burrow, Jalen, Allen, those would be your Mahomes. If I had a minute 30, I'd probably pick Mahomes to do it. I'd probably take Mahomes. With a minute 30, down 4, I would take Mahomes out of all these guys, and out of all these offenses, I would say. You know what, Mr. International, Jaden Daniels? I want to see it a little more. But a minute 30, I would probably take, of all these guys, I would take Patrick Mahomes. Because he's won multiple Super Bowls. He's been in them. He's been in 3 straight. I mean, how do you not take a guy who's been to 3 straight Super Bowls and won 3 of them? 3 in 5 years. Name me anybody in the league who's been better than that. Has anybody been better than Mahomes in the last 5 years? No, it's not close, actually. He's won 3 Super Bowls, and he's been to 4 in 5 years. Okay? No, we're talking about multiple Super Bowls. We're talking about multiple big games. And you asked me with a minute 30. Super Bowls matter? How about this? No. If you want to take the Super Bowl conversation out, if I had a minute 40 left in a game and it's not a Super Bowl, I'm still taking Mahomes. Okay. We'll take the Super Bowl out. I'll take Mahomes. There you go. Make you feel better, kid? It's all good. In any situation, give me Mahomes. He's top 5 all time. He is. He's a mile ahead of Burrow, Hurts, Allen, and Lamar. Well, I don't know about miles, but he's awful good. More I see Josh Allen, the more I see a mobile Ben Roethlisberger. I tell you what, Roethlisberger's underrated. Roethlisberger won more than Peyton Manning did at Indianapolis. Why? Because they had him more in a structure. I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to bring something to the table. What I don't know. But all I do know is this. You're going to win 9 games in Pittsburgh no matter what. You're going to win 9 games in Pittsburgh with Mason Rudolph. Does Aaron Rodgers win you 11 games? Okay? Hit the like button, guys. Let's try to get to 150 if we can. What makes Burrow close to Mahomes? Passing yards? No. The way he handles the pocket. The way he sees that, looks downfield. The way he throws not to spots. He anticipates routes. His footwork is way better. Mahomes is a better athlete. Bruce Arians, who's worked with tons of quarterbacks, said that the guy in Cincinnati is by far the best pocket passer of anybody in the league right now. And he's worked with them all. Joe Burrow in clutch time this year. 2 TDs and 7 picks. Okay? Are you under the notion that you think that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow? Nobody believes that. Only the people in Philly. That's fine. I'm not debating it anymore. I'm not going to ever debate that. He's not. He's just not. Okay? I mean, he'll never be. Now, that doesn't mean he's not going to win more. Dude, Troy Aikman was never in the conversation of Dan Marino, but he won more. Why? Because he played within a structure. Nobody would ever say Troy Aikman would. Get this. How many people in here believe that Troy Aikman is a better quarterback than what Dan Marino was? How many folks believe that? Because Troy won 3 more. He was never a better player. Well, then don't tell me, don't use that metric for Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow. When you're using the same metric, Aikman's got 3 of them. Aikman played in a better team, in a better system, took advantage of the players around him better. Nobody said, I didn't make this comment to you too. All right? I didn't make this comment. Who was a smarter quarterback? I think there's a difference. Okay? Seals, why did Aikman transfer from Oklahoma to UCLA? Good question. He was supposed to come to Miami. We had recruited him. We broke his leg in a game. Barry Switzer wanted to stay with Jamal Holloway. And he went to Troy Aikman and told Troy Aikman this. Troy, I think you should transfer to a West Coast team. He's from Oklahoma too. I mean, he was born and raised in Oklahoma. And he was like, you should go. He called Terry Donahue up. And Terry Donahue got the call and brought him into UCLA. It was Barry Switzer that got him that scholarship at UCLA. Not that Troy couldn't have done it himself, but Barry Switzer found him a place to go play. Because they were trying to, get this, they were going to go to a passing offense. It just wasn't working. So they went back. They won a national title that year in '85. Okay? I mean, right. Get this, Zeal. The cool thing about Barry Switzer is that he wasn't a liar. He said, Troy, you got to go to UCLA. Got him a scholarship, got him there. He ended up coaching Troy Aikman to a Super Bowl win at the end of the day. So in Troy Aikman's time being with Barry Switzer, he won a Super Bowl and a national title. I mean, Barry Switzer, he's been on this program. That's why he's one of my favorite people. A coach that never lied to you. And a coach that was not going to lie to you. And that's how they handled Aikman. Troy Aikman was one hell of a. He surely was. There's no doubt. Tough as nails, too. Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in the NFL. Absolutely true. Even better than Allen. He's got more skill. I just think I like Kyle's take on Josh Allen. He's a more athletic Roethlisberger. A little more accurate, though. Okay? Absolutely. Just great. Eagles offense as a whole is only offense that hasn't changed. Well, it has changed. It's gone from trying to be a high-volume passing team to being a predominantly running team, except for KP being OC, but KP has been here the whole time. Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's going to be a good offensive coordinator. Okay? That right there probably is, and you know what, Leon? Josh Allen is probably more of today's quarterback because why? Because of the turnover that you have in the game. You're going to have a quarterback like Hurts, Allen, Stroud, people who can run. Why? The only place that doesn't lose offensive line, except the right guard, is Philly. Do you know one thing is really evident with Philly? Teams lose players in the O-line, centers, guards, tackles. The Eagles lose one position, the right guard. They don't really lose any other position. Like, there's no chance. How many people think Lane Johnson's going to go anywhere and end his career? I don't. How many people believe that Jordan Mailata will leave Philadelphia and go? I don't. How many people believe that Landon Dickerson or Cam Jurgens is going to leave? I don't. Allen is never the reason why his team loses. I thought last year was the first time I could say that, Leon. I thought the year before that, like that one play he had in Minnesota, or no, against Minnesota, up in Buffalo. Remember when he dropped the ball on the 2-yard line and he was going out? All they had to do was, run the clock out, and they'd have had home field advantage. I thought he made some bonehead plays. That's the one thing you got to give Jalen Hurts a lot of credit for. You really never see him do a lot of stupid plays outside of the dumb sacks. And that scoop and score that they had in the Super Bowl, you can name him on your hand where he's had bad plays. He doesn't really do that. He doesn't really make tragic mistakes like that. Seals, if Wentz was mentally tough, he'd have been Josh Allen. He'd have been Brett Favre. He'd have been Brett Favre. I was comparing him, Bob. I was comparing that dude to Brett Favre. Carson Wentz. He reminded me exactly the way that guy played. Yeah, man, this list here of NFL.com. So the Philadelphia Eagles have the 7th best offense, and yet they had the number 1 offense that you couldn't. Hey, you could stop the Bills. You can stop the Bucks. You could stop Baltimore. You could stop Washington. You could stop Detroit. You could stop Denver. You could not stop the Philadelphia Eagles. And you're trying to tell me that they're 7th and they brought everybody back but Becton? Come on, man. I'm not buying that, really. As a matter of fact, 3rd on my list might be too low. Even I have to do this to you. I don't know. Every one of those offenses, Kansas City was stopped. Cincinnati was stopped. Green Bay was stopped, albeit a great Eagle defense. I mean, you couldn't stop that offense last year running the ball. You just couldn't stop it. That's why this year, people are going, well, what kind of difference do you think Kevin Petula? Did I write that down as a topic? I thought I did. I may have written that down. Okay, so, Why in the world am I going to try to go up volume? I'll tell you this. In that first 4 games, when I line up against the Cowboys, I'm not trying to be versatile. I'm not trying to do anything stupid. I'm going to get into a fist fight with the Cowboys. Day 1, I'm getting into a fist fight with them on September 4th. You know what I'm telling them? I may not throw the ball at all in this game. I don't believe you can stop me. Try it. With who? Lazy Smith? I don't believe the Cowboys can stop you. But what would give me an indication of that? You bringing everybody back? Becton's loss will be something. You can't just go, it's not going to be nothing. It is. Is it going to be where it's catastrophic? No. No, I don't believe that. That's not the main question heading into 25. Okay? The seed right here, this guy is exactly right. I'm going to tee the ball up. I'm going to look at that guy. And get this, if I'm Lane, we're coming right at you. I don't believe you can stop us. I do not believe it. I do not. Okay? I do not believe they could stop that. And I'm going to run Barkley 38 times in that game. Jalen Hurts may have this number in that game. 15 of 20 for 180 yards and 65 yards rushing with 3 TDs. That would be something that I could see in that game. Barkley, I think, is going to get 165 rushing and 3 touchdowns. I think you're blowing their doorknobs off. I mean, I could see a 40 burger put on them. Right? Why would I go Dallas is better? Because Dak's back? Where did they get better? Where did Dallas get better in the offseason? The quarterback coming back. Well, shit, he wasn't playing very good when he got hurt. Where in the world do you put out there and you go, well, the Cowboys are going to be better because they got Dak back? Okay, well, really? What? Really? Well, they added George Pickens. Oh, shit, not him. The biggest malcontent in Pittsburgh history. Ooh. Oh, hey, JD3. Boy, I bet you this. I bet the Eagles are totally frightened of George Pickens. I would say this. I'll tell you what the question mark's going to be here in a minute for the Eagles. And there's only one glaring one. There's no more debating now. Here on June 25th, there's really no more. All right, I got to ask one question before I get to this other main topic here. And I'll get to my biggest question. I would not be surprised if Goddard has a good game. I wouldn't either. We're going to get to that because I heard him talking. I guess he was making some comments. Let me ask you something. How good a job do you think Howie Roseman has done in drafting since 2008? Now, I know there's been gaps where he's not been totally head of personnel. And I know he's been GM. He had 2 stints, so go with his stints. How good do you think that they've drafted since 2008, in your opinion? B? Okay. B minus? Okay. Not bad. How good have you think they've done drafting since 2008? The Eagle organization. Solid B? All right. I have a question to ask you. Since 2008, when Brian Dawkins walked out the building, name me one safety that they've drafted that has been worth the shit. Name me one safety since Brian Dawkins walked out of the building. Reed wasn't drafted. Reed wasn't drafted. Name me one guy since 2008 that they drafted at safety. One dude. You didn't draft Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins was New Orleans. Name me one safety that you've drafted since Brian Dawkins walked out the building at safety. Jalen Mills, who? Name me one dude. Rodney McLeod. Who's Lamar Davis? So, like, almost in 20 years, you haven't drafted a safety worth of shit. Zach. And this guy ended up becoming a factor somewhere else. Not for you. Didn't you cut him? What makes you think you have good safeties now? They've struggled at that position. I'm not saying I don't know what he is. We'll see. Get this. You didn't draft fucking Reed. Okay. CJ wasn't drafted by you. The question is, once again, stay with me, kid. Name me a safety that you've drafted since Dawkins walked out of the building in 2008. That's the question. Name me a safety that you've drafted since 2008. That's the question. You can have your own show one day, M. Reyes, and you can go off on another topic. I asked you a fucking question. Who's the last great safety, good safety, that you've drafted in almost 20 years? Why am I to believe that you have good safeties now? I don't think Reed's bad. I think Reed is a product of the people around him, though. I don't think that guy, when I look at the great safeties like Bates and Derwin James and other guys like Kyle Hamilton, I don't see that guy. I see a really good player, not that. You guys have bombed drafting safeties. Sidney Brown? Dude, ask yourself this about Sidney Brown. If they thought that guy was worth the shit, why'd they go out and draft another safety? Well, it's either replace Sidney or Reed. And I'm not saying Makuba sucks. I don't know yet. I have no idea. Get this guy. Kyle's the top 2 safety? Right. Makes $20 million. He's going to set the market. Shit, man. People that cover the Eagles are saying Reed because you got $15 million. I'm just asking a question here. Hey, you're making it sound like your safety position is some set. Now, look, you put Cooper back there, it's a different conversation. You put him back at that safety position, and you put him next to Reed, now we're talking. You put a rookie next to Reed, I don't know. I don't know. Hey, just because you know where to line up don't mean that you're going to make plays. It gives you a great chance to make plays, but you got to have good people around you. Hey, get this. CJ's not the greatest technician to ever play safety, but he's had the biggest impact of any safety that's played in Philly since Brian Dawkins. Do you understand that? DJ Gardner-Johnson has had as much impact as any safety that you've had play since Dawkins. And you know what that was? 2 NFC titles and a Super Bowl. Those are facts. Again, those aren't stats either. Those are wins. Get this. CJ was more accomplished than Malcolm Jenkins in his 2 years. Why? It resulted in Super Bowls. You know, he can make the comment. When he wasn't here, you were 28th in pass defense. Your safety play was horrific. Okay? We are not, get this. Look, once again, the question comes down to this. CJ was a liability in coverage. He wasn't a liability in wins. Okay, well then name me a fucking safety that you've drafted since 2008 that was worth a shit. Name me one. Every safety you've ever had was from another team. CJ, Malcolm Jenkins. The only guy has been Dawkins. All those guys were from other organizations. That position, you don't do a very good job of drafting. Now, again, you're going to try to tell me that after 20 years, you changed the game with Makuba. All of a sudden now, people are not that high on Sidney Brown. How's that for you? Howie and the entire organization, they have not done a great job at that position. Michael Lewis? The Stiff Express since, hey, I mean, they just have not done a good job there. I'm going to get to the topic here in a minute. Didn't draft McLeod? Okay. So why am I to believe you have a good group now? No. I'm not trying to be right, Ethan. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm asking you. Let me go here with you. Ethan, when I throw a topic out, it's not about being right. It's about conversation. You tell me, why am I to believe now that you have a good group back there of safety guys when you never have? Unless it's a guy like Malcolm or a dude like CJ. It's not about being right. I'm not trying to. Dude, that's one thing I so you know, Ethan, when I throw a topic out, all right? When I go to a topic like this, it's not about trying to be right. Because, okay, but don't you agree, Ethan, that Reed needs somebody next to him? Hey, dude, that guy, by himself in 23 was terrible. He was terrible in 23. The entire secondary was terrible. You were 28th in pass defense. And he was part of that. I don't care what his fucking grade was. Okay. Now, let's go to the topic here. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Again, can I be honest? I think our safety play will be decent, not great. Okay? Love Blankenship, but he isn't great. He's good. I think he's very good. I'm with you. Excellent. I think he's very good. I don't think he's great. I believe Gardner Johnson and his playmaking ability will be missed for sure. Okay? Absolutely. I love your take. Okay? You do not have better talent now. Another year of experience for a year last year. That's some yes, another year of experience for all the players that were not here. I don't think that helps Sydney, but I do think that helps Reed. Yes, more reps, more opportunities. Yes, it does. Mike, I agree with you. Let's see. Well, I think Detroit does. I think Baltimore now does. Well, again, I want to be careful with that because I want to see Malachi Starks play first. But I think they're going to get in Baltimore. That's going to be pretty good. Makuba's a little different than the others. He played a lot in the slot and covered wide receivers one-on-one, not just additional safety. The versatility factor. Okay. Hey, I'm not calling him a bum, JD3. I am totally not. That's not what I'm saying here. Again, guys, I want you to understand something. When I throw a topic out, it's not about being fucking right. It's about having conversation. Jesus criminy. Really? I mean, you got to be kidding me. Who in the world does a show that wants to be right? I do a show to try to have conversation, not sit around and fucking rip people for like coming up with topics so that we can talk every single day, 365 days of the year. That's what I do. I don't sit around in downtime, whatever the fuck that is. We have Cooper and Quentin and Zach Bond. And Morph, I don't know what that means. I mean, it's just a stupid take, as usual. Okay. Isn't this the number one question? Let's stop about positions and anything else. Isn't this the most important question that you can ask for your team this year? Of all the contenders that are in the NFL this year, you have taken a step back, but it's not a catastrophic step back. Like, I don't think the other teams have caught you yet. I just don't. You're setting up 26 and 27 and still being a team that sits at the quarter pole. I don't have a problem saying that. How about move Makuba to nickel, Coop to safety, trade a 4th and 26 for Greg Newsome? I'll tell you something, Chris. I like that idea of putting Makuba in the slot and putting Cooper DeJean at safety. I actually like that idea. I think you're going to have a problem out there. Well, here, let me get to the topic. Still a lot to be desired. Here's the question. There's only really one question about the Eagles this year. Oh, get this. Look at this. Where did I see this? Lions took a step back because of the play callers? Okay. You want to say that? Here. Biggest question in 2025 for the Philadelphia Eagles is this: the defensive turnover that you've had on your team. How big of a transition is this going to be this year? Plain and simple. The biggest question for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2025, the defensive turnover. No other way of looking at it. You could sit here in the offseason and you could debate me that you think you're better than this and you're better than that. Bottom line, truth be told, you still had turnover. You have a completely different defensive football team than you did. That was the number one defense. And you could debate if you think you're better on June 25th. I'm not going to debate that. You're a different team. That is your biggest question. Not your offense. Yeah, the guard, the right guard. Okay. Sure. I mean, I don't think it's catastrophic, as I said, but the biggest question mark will come down to the defensive turnovers or the turnover on the defense in personnel. Now, I'm going to make a comment here about Vic. I talked to Clint Hurt. And I'm going to give you guys an exclusive. That don't mean smarter. Because I heard this right from the horse's mouth. Are you expecting to see the same defensive approach that you saw in 2024 and 25? Yes or no? Do you think you're going to see the same defensive approach that they had in 24 in 2025? Very smart. Chip season, that's very smart. You guys really, this is good. Okay? I'm surprised. More versatility? Who's this guy? I haven't seen this before. Exceptional. This guy too. Exceptional. 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 I'm wrong. I thought you guys were going to be stupid like M. Reyes. It's a whole new defense. Wow. Okay. You are. Absolutely. Here's what I'm being told. Here's what I'm being told. You could take the approach that you had a year ago and you can light it on fire. I got you, M. Reyes. Hey, I love fighting that guy. Me and him have good ones. I do. I dig this guy. Listen, I heard something last night. I said, dude, you're not going to plug and play what you. He goes, do you really think Vic Fangio is going to go into when he thinks he may be lighter in a position that they're not going to change some of the directions and some of the things that they're going to do, maybe not do? This thing's going to look completely different because of the personnel will dictate it. Vic is making a brand new defensive scheme based on the personnel he has. This is going to be completely different. You're going to see Zach Bond rushing more. You're going to see more guys that are going to be playing off-ball linebacker that you hadn't seen before. You're going to see Cooper DeJean maybe corner blitzing, putting him out there at corner, creating pressure. And because of the versatility you have, you won't be doing substitutions. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, when I said you guys weren't going to be a top 13 defense, I don't know. I think Vic is time. Vic right now is creating this defense. Guess what he does? I think this shit's great. He's sending Zach Bond tape of Derek Thomas pass rushing. He sent him a tape of Derek Thomas rushing from the corner. He's sending Jalen Carter pass rush moves that Aaron Donald has done from the 3 technique. This is what we need right here. See this? We're going to try to isolate you, and we're going to put Jordan on the other side of the center. We're going to flex out the defensive end and create a one-on-one for you in the middle. And they're going to start moving Carter more, and they're going to start moving him up and down. I don't think they're going to move him end-wise, but I think they're going to move him more internally to create mismatches. They do that shit in Kansas City with Chris Jones. So they're going to see, you're going to see a whole, and what Vic likes about Zach Bond, you know, that Van Kinkle kid. Remember that Van Kinkle guy that was down in Miami? He went up to Minnesota, right? Didn't he make first team All-Pro? Didn't that guy make first team All-Pro up there? That's what he's going to start trying to do with Bond. He wants him to play more of that kind of role guy. Didn't that Van Kinkle, didn't he make first team All-Pro? I think that's what he wants Zach to be this year. Kind of something like that. Playoff ball, but they want to move him into pass rush situations because they think, you know, don't be. How many people, let me throw this at you. How shocked would you be if Zach Bond turns out to be your best edge rusher? How shocked would you be? Second team, thank you, Kyle. How shocked would you be if it comes out that Zach Bond has 10.5, 11 sacks? After listening to Clint, I was like, dude, that guy might be your best pass rusher. He goes, I don't know. It may be. Mid-season, we will know where the Eagle defense stands. Defense will be different, more versatile, but younger and less experienced. Bigger questions, is this versatility more than Vic's image dream defense? Yeah, I think so. Okay? I mean, I won't be shocked. That guy is not a cookie cutter defensive dude. He is not. I mean, he's not. That's the biggest question for me was the defensive turnover. And I went like this. Okay. So I text Clint. He texts me back. He goes, are you expecting to see the same defense? I go, dude, you may see Cooper DeJean in a completely different role this year. He's going to be all over the field. You know, he was isolated in one spot mostly last year. Vic believes he could play multiple positions. He believes, get this, Private Pile better be in shape. Private Pile is important in the run game. Michael, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Guys, hit the like button. Hey, I'm more optimistic. I got to tell you, your off season, I don't know. He's trying to find the pieces right now, and he's trying to figure out the Rubik's Cube. That's right. Cosmo, you're right down here. Because you said it yourself when Vic was hired, his schemes will never look the same. You know what? And I should have remembered that. I have a problem with Coop changing positions after seeing him plant Derrick Henry like Johnny Appleseed. What's your take, Sills? Hey, look, man, I think that kid could be a special football player. I don't believe his best place is corner. I think his best place is in the slot and safety. You know why? I want him in the middle of the field because that's where all the action is, in the middle of that zone. When you play too high safety, think about it. When you play too high safety, okay, and you got too high, and you're like this in the middle, okay? There's your two high safety guys. You got your corners here. The middle of that zone. I want to get Coop in here, man. I want him patrolling this. I want him in the middle. Why would I want him on the edge in the perimeter? You know what I'm saying? I'm taking him away from the play. It's not kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking to put him in traffic, in pursuit lanes. I want the outside guys forcing the play into him. That thing is not going to look anything near what it was a year ago. So you're going to change a lot of your schematics. Get this. I should have known this too. Common sense tells you just because you have one system and you have one way of doing something, that doesn't mean you have the personnel to do it again. It's common sense. I should have, instead of saying they can't be the number one defense. That's why this is going to take a little time. I'm not saying that they're going to be playing different terminology. That's not what I'm saying here. Sills, the ability for the run game to pick up where it left off is key for our defense to play into form. I know our D will need to be tested, but the ability to settle in will be the key to the success of the team. Absolutely true. One of the things that helped that defense a year ago was the run game. Why? I mean, I would like get this. I'd like to have seen the Eagles a year ago burn more clock, but Barkley was hitting his head on the goalpost too much. I mean, every time, hey, did you not say this? Every time Barkley touched the ball, how many people in here went like this? He's going for 60. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was going for a home run every time he touched the ball. He was getting like 3-4 yards, and nobody was touching him. You're like, this guy's going fucking crazy. I mean, they're going to have a completely different look on defense this year. But that's the number one question. There's really no other debate. Think of this. Again, isn't this the question? Biggest question is going to be the defensive turnover. How it affects the team, positive or negative. There's no other debate. Still, we have better talent than you're saying. Okay, I'm not debating that. You are. You've had turnover, though. Is it going to be good or bad? Well, I think we have guys that could. I'm not debating that. Dude, when you lose certain people in the building, good or bad, it's turnover. Still, other teams like the Jets have turnover. The Jets won 5 games. I'm not talking about a 5-win fucking team. I'm talking about a 14-win team that went on to win like 17 in a row. You want to compare yourself to the Jets? Okay, Fireman Ed. What are you, Jody? Holy cow. Oh, by the way, I got to show you something before I bring Big Z in. I got my book today. Look at this shit, man. Look at this. I got my book. Look at this right there, baby. And look at this right inside there. Xander Krause's big OS JAKIB. Look at that logo in there. Look at that mug. Look at that bad puppy. #1 on Amazon, bitch. My wife thought, though, when the book came, and I opened it, I won't lie, Xander. When I opened up the package, my wife said, "This guy's been in the can?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, she thought the package was going to blow up. All right. Without further ado, we bring you the host with the most, who, again, has to battle people who hate lists. With all that being said, my boy, Big Z, Xander Krause, joins us now here. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
I love lists.
I know you do, and
I
love
do.
lists.
I love them because you know why? It gives you a chance to have conversation and gives you a chance to sit there and see how others look and are looking at you this year. For me, look, so NFL.com, it's funny how Eagle fans are. When they see Hurts, I guarantee you, where do you think Hurts is going to land on that list for the top 100 players voted by the players this year? Just shits and giggles.
I don't know. Probably
top I think high.
Top 10?
10?
Top 5?
No, top 5. Somewhere in there.
I was going to say, if it were me doing it, it would be high. But, I don't know who's doing it.
The NFL players.
It's the players.
It's the players. No media dudes, no nobody. It's the players. They named Tyreek Hill last year the #1 player.
Could he be top 3? Yeah, probably.
Dude, he might be 2.
He couldn't be 1, could he?
I don't. Maybe. Dude,
Saquon might be #1.
Oh, Saquon. That's right. Saquon might be #1. Henry and Lamar will be in that top 5 with Allen.
It depends when they do the list, though. Don't they normally do it like before the season?
Yeah, well, that thing's going to come out in like a month when they go to training camp. Like in July. Like somewhere in the end of July, they're going to have hey, dude, I'll give you my top 5 players right now in the NFL. And if I was voting right now, go based off the last year, right? 4 or 5. Top 5 players. I'm going to put Barkley 1. Fuck. I can't believe what I'm saying here.
How are you going to go Hurts 2? You can't even put Hurts 2 in your quarterback list.
Yeah, but I'm basing this fucking shit off of I don't know. Okay, I'm going to put Myles Garrett.
I think, look, I love Jalen Hurts. I don't think he was the second best player in football last year.
Myles Garrett.
I don't think that's a knock on him either. I think he obviously did what he needed to do and got us over the top, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. But I don't think he was the second best player in football last year.
I'm going to go Barkley, Myles Garrett.
Can't go wrong with Myles Garrett.
Dude, I have to put Lamar there.
Boy, Lamar really is a media darling. I know, though. It's impressive. I'm not saying it's not. It is impressive what he does, but he really is a media darling.
Well, dude, he's a great player.
Yeah, he gets a lot of stats.
And wins.
Well, not playoff wins, but wins.
He wins a lot. Again, I get it, but he wins a lot.
Well, he wins a lot in the regular season.
He's actually got a higher win percentage than Hurts.
He's like the most talented Dak Prescott in the world until proven otherwise.
He's got to win.
Listen, he's very talented. He's probably one of the most talented players to ever play in the NFL.
I'm going to put Allen 4th. I'm going to put Jalen Hurts 5th. I'm going to go Barkley, Myles Garrett. If this is going to be voted by the players, how do you not have him up there?
I think they're going to have him up there. They players like Jalen Hurts in the league.
Absolutely. And respect them.
Yeah, they respect and like Jalen Hurts, regardless of what analyst or Big Sills says. Players in the league who play versus him and are on the same football field between the same white lines as him. Respect him.
Well, I'm going to have to run this by F. Lee Krause and see if he likes this thing here. I'll leave that alone here. But hey, is it the biggest question? There's only one real question, don't you think, heading into training camp? It's the turnover. The biggest question for the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles is the defensive turnover and what issue or non-issues that will cause this year. And again, I'm not debating, Xander, whether or not you have the talent to replace them or whether or not you're good enough or whether or not you're not good enough. I'm debating, or not really even a debate. Isn't that the question? How is the turnover going to affect the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be big, but are they able to make up for it? I think they're in a good position to be able to make up for it. Doesn't mean it's all going to work out, but I think Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith are two ascending players with high upsides and high ceilings. If they can play their way into realizing some of that potential this year, I think that situation will be good. I like Moro Jomo. I like Ty Robinson, and I like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. I think those are plenty at the defensive tackle spot. I understand you lost Milton Williams, but I'm happy with those 4 defensive tackles. You look at the linebacker spot, I think Bond's pretty good there. Obviously, got some injuries there, so we'll see on that front. My biggest question is safety. I mean, I'm more confident in Keely Ringo than I am in Andrew Makuba. Now, that's not a knock on Makuba, but I feel like Ringo, at least he has the size, the frame, the athleticism, the speed, and the technique to play the position. Now, does it translate to the game? Is he too physical? Is he too handsy? Do some of those things slow him down potentially? And we have to see. But I'm pretty confident in Ringo and what he can do. We'll see. And Andrew Makuba, I mean, let's be real. One great season in college. Undersized. Never played in an NFL game before. Never has seen the NFL field before. Will he be able to make up, by the way, for a player who was super productive and made a lot of plays? Obviously, CJ did get beat in coverage, so I kind of feel like there's a chance that Makuba could be better in coverage than CJ. I know that's a big statement, but I think he could be better in coverage, but he's not going to make as many plays as CJ.
Again, all of that is right. It's the turnover. How is all those things you just answered going to be answered, or if they are going to be answered? All right. So you said that, and one of the reasons I brought this up, I know you're a fan of what Howie has done and what the Eagles have done in drafting. I brought this up. Can you name me a safety that you've drafted since 2008 that's worth the shit? That walked out the building. That's when Brian Dawkins walked out the building. Name me one safety that you drafted that was worth the shit.
I can't name you one. Let's go back and take a look. Let's go and take a look. Shall we, everybody? All right.
By the way, for the record, I'm not saying Makuba sucks. I don't know yet.
Yeah, Andrew Makuba could become a player. We'll see.
He could. Okay.
All right. 2 years ago, nothing. You took Sidney Brown. When did you take Sidney Brown? That was 3 years ago. 2 years. Yeah, 3 years. No, 2 years ago. Sidney Brown. That's not a success. You took Zach McPherson. That was not a success. You took, let's see, where's our next one? DB, boy, we didn't take many. Safety, Nate Gary. I guess was he coming out? Was he a safety coming out? Didn't he play linebacker?
Yes, he did.
Fucking A. Save Jalen Mills. All right, 2016, Jalen Mills. We won a Super Bowl with Jalen Mills.
Okay, Jalen Mills.
I mean, we won a Super Bowl with him. He was pretty good that year. Remember, he was the Green Goblin. He had the green hair.
So since 2008, you have Jalen Mills.
That was 2016. I didn't get through the other 8 years, but listen, it's not we haven't drafted an all-pro player.
Right, they've been all guys. They've been all guys you brought in. Malcolm Jenkins was from the Saints. Gardner Johnson was from the Saints. I mean, you've brought in dudes that were just other guys.
Narrative change so quick. Like what? Just because we haven't drafted a safety doesn't mean we're never going to.
My point is, No, I'll tell you where I'm going with it. My point is, why do I believe you have good safeties now?
Well, we spent a higher pick on a safety last year than we have in a while. I mean, Sidney Brown was a 3, so that's still pretty high. But even what's his name? Jalen Mills was a 7th round player. Sills.
Okay.
All right. 7th round player. Yeah, no, I mean, we haven't drafted a crazy good one, but we spent a 2nd round pick on Makuba. You know, we invested at the position. Reed Blankenship has developed into what he's developed at. It's also proof that maybe we don't need to spend a huge pick on a safety. You can develop a guy if you get the right guy. Yeah, I don't know why look, I did say that was my biggest question, safety.
My question is going to be here is that, don't you think that one of the reasons that you were successful is because you had a high quality player in Gardner Johnson in that position back there at safety? And you could make the argument that CJ has had as much success as Malcolm Jenkins did in his 2 years playing.
Wait a second. How about this? Go ahead. Finish up.
My point is going to be is this. How good is Reed going to be with a rookie sitting next to him and another guy who hasn't really started? I mean, Keely Ringo's never started. Has he? Has he ever started an NFL game in his life?
Ringo started? I don't think so. So
So you're going to play a safety and a corner that's never started an NFL down. I mean, that's kind of wild. Sit there and think that that's going to be the same production of a year ago that you had in that secondary, especially if you can't get pressure. I
agree. I got a safety, though, for you that we drafted since 2008 that was good.
Okay.
Just wasn't good in Philly.
Oh, yeah. I know. He was good in Buffalo.
Jordan Poyer, baby.
Yeah.
7th round draft pick.
I wouldn't mind him back.
In 2013. Yeah, he's older. But, boy, I'm telling you right now, all right, I hope Eagles fans, I mean, listen, I know you say, oh, you glaze Howie and all this crap, but can I just pull this up for people? I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. Let me pull this up for people. Dude, look at what our draft classes used to look like. Marcus Smith, Jordan Matthews, Josh Huff, Jalen Watkins, Taylor Hart, Ed Reynolds, and Bo Allen, Nelson Aguilar, Randall Evans, Brian Mihalik. This 2016 wasn't a bad class. Benny Logan, Matt Barkley, Earl Wolf, Jordan Poyer, round 7, David King, Michael Kendricks, not bad. I met him in the hospital one day. Vinny Curry, I loved Vinny Curry. Nick Foles, wow, there you go. Fletcher Cox, Michael Kendricks, Vinny Curry, Nick Foles. That's not bad. Brandon Boykin, Dennis Kelly, Marvin McNutt, Bryce Brown. Are you?
Can I tell you what?
Daquan Jarrett, Danny Watkins, Curtis Marsh, Casey Met. These are hilarious.
Can I tell you why? What happened? I mentioned this yesterday, Xander. I think that Jalen Reagor failure did more for the Eagle draft than anything you can ever imagine, and how important that was, because after that pick, look how the Eagles picked. How he made the fucking decisive decision by not listening to anybody else but his final call. I've heard him say that Jalen Reagor was more of a Doug Peterson want, wasn't it?
Well, that's the way. Yeah,
is that the rumor?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's a rumor. I think based on what I've heard and been told, that I do think it was Doug Peterson and how he totally fell on the sword. They wanted a guy to stretch the field. That was when Tyreek Hill was shredding the NFL. They wanted that guy with Carson Wentz, to be able to shred, to open up the field. Remember, they were trying to get it with Aguilar. At the time, they had Alshon Jeffrey. They had Torrey Smith coming off the Super Bowl. They had Jordan Matthews. Like, they were trying to get a guy to spread the field. And they went with Reagor, and I think
now look at the draft picks after Reagor. After Reagor, go to that list that you have there. Look at the drafts after Jalen Reagor. Not
Reagor was taken here in 2020 with Jalen Hurts.
Okay. Look at after
2020 was a terrible class, by the way.
Look at after the draft. Look at after the Jalen Reagor pick.
Boy, it's a good thing that Jalen Hurts worked out in this class, but Jack Driscoll's not bad. But
No, he
Yeah,
played.
I know. You got Devontae Smith, Landon
Look.
Dickerson, Milton Williams, Zach McPherson. He was a bust. Kenneth Gainwell, Marlon, Tehran, and Patrick Johnson's here again. Jacoby Stevens, Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, Nakobe Dean, Kyron Johnson, Grant Calcaterra. 4 or 5 there.
4 the 5 play.
Yep, 4 of the 5.
Look at the classes after that Rager class.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. Here they are.
They're home runs. Your entire team is built after Jalen Rager almost.
I know. It is crazy. It is crazy what they've done since that pick.
Since that pick.
21, 22, 23, 24 have all been great drafts. I'm assuming 25 is a great draft.
Why wouldn't you? I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, that Rager pick, how he must have went like this. I am never doing that again. Where I'm going to have, maybe this is again where you walk in the room and go, this is where Nick doesn't get in the way, because like Doug got in the way in that draft pick. Doug got in the way, right, of what they wanted to try to get. They may have taken Jeff. Hey, get this. Maybe it's Jefferson, because you remember Jefferson had some sort of bullshit comments about him down at LSU about taking money and stuff. There was like some character issue shit down there with him. Remember, he was on the sidelines with OBJ in that national title game, and they were all talking how this guy had his hand out. They didn't like that look. A lot of teams didn't like that look, and that's why they went with the safer pick and Rager. That whole thing. I want to show you something, bro. Did you tell me that you thought you were pretty happy with your linebacker room?
I think it's deep. I mean, once everybody's healthy, I think it's deep.
I thought you were full of shit, but I'll tell you what.
I'm not full of shit. I never speak full of shit, ever. I'm a lot of things. Full of shit is not one of them. Sorry, Sills.
Jesus Christ, you all right over there, man?
I'm not full of shit. I mean, come on. I'm a lot of things. Full of shit ain't one of them.
Okay,
I get in trouble.
John.
I get in trouble over here, Sills.
Okay, John. Okay, John. It's all right. Don't worry. Hey, we're only having a good time here. Hang on, John. All right.
Who are you calling John? Huh?
What a fucking Philly guy. Hey, PFF has the Eagles linebackers ranked number 1.
PFF is PFF. They also rate Jalen Hurts 10. They're scrubs.
Bro, wait a minute. They have Detroit 2. They got the Patriots 3. They got Kansas City 4. They got Washington 5. They've got Jacksonville 6, Z-Mac. They've got San Francisco 7.
Forrest, I really do. I have to deal with grandpas. Grandpa in the morning and grandpa in the evening. I'm renaming the channel. It's Gramps and the grandson. You guys are both curmudgeons, dude. It's unbelievable.
I like fucking lists. You guys are the ones moaning about.
You're a curmudgeon in your own way. He didn't throw for 4,000 yards.
Yeah. He never will. Never will. They just won't.
Yeah, well, this year he will. Guaranteed.
Yeah, no, if he does
4K 30 touchdowns.
You want to hear this, folks? If that guy
4K 30 touchdowns.
If that guy, oh my God. If that guy goes for 4K and 30 touchdowns, the Eagles are 9-8.
No, we're burning the cowboy helmet on air.
I can't fit my fat head in that. Okay. The Jets are 9. I can't believe that. The fucking Eagles have the best linebacking core because of Jahai Campbell. Are you kidding me? The guy hasn't even stepped on the fucking field yet. Come on, Z-Mac.
Guy was a stud at the University of Alabama.
Yeah. Look at you, man. You're getting all huffy because he said full of shit. I love it. Holy cow. Hey, do you believe that the Philadelphia Eagle defense is going to look the same from 2024, how they approach games?
You mean like their approach, the scheme, all that stuff? Yeah. I think it's largely the same. Maybe a little variance in the way they use the front seven. I mean, if you have multiple guys that can rush and drop, you have Jalix Hunt, who's more versatile than Josh Sweat when it comes to dropping into coverage. If Jahad Campbell gets healthy, he'd be more versatile at the linebacker position in terms of dropping or rushing. You have Zach Bond, who's obviously capable of doing both. He's been working with Jeremiah Washburn. And then you have, obviously, the guys in the defensive front. So I think it could look a little different in that regard. But overall, I mean, they're going to have the same scheme overall, same system and everything. I think it's going to work out, and they're going to be a top 5 defense again.
Okay, well, I don't know about the last comment, but
I got 4K 30 touchdowns from Hurts, and I got top
I know
5
you do,
defense.
boss. And you got 14 wins.
Did you forget? See, the difference between me and you is when we made our bold prediction list, my list actually was worth a shit, and yours stunk out loud.
Yeah. By the way, I've been Shohei Ohtani so far in the offseason here. Hit my 27th bomb last night, and I'll do it again.
Ready, guys? These are 3 of Sileo's four top 4 bold predictions for the year. Eagles 11 wins, brutal.
Yep.
Commanders will win the NFC East, atrocious take.
Perfect.
And Saquon under 1,400 yards, absolutely pitiful.
Yep. Those are all going to happen.
Jalen under 4K.
If Jalen Hurts throws for $4,000, he's going to be under that.
We'll see.
Oh no! So what? You think he's going to get
every other narrative that
according to ZMac, this guy's going to go for 4,500 passing yards, and the other guy's going to go for 2K, and the receivers are going to go for 1,500 apiece. Holy shit! This is like Madden. I mean, I'll tell you what, man. You never got
prove you wrong on every other take you had. He'll prove you wrong on this one too.
No, he won't prove me wrong.
Yes, he will.
He was a caboose a year ago.
Cileo's career on JAKIB will be defined as each year Jalen checked off a new Cileoism. This year he proved this wrong. This year he proved this wrong. And Sileo will pick the goalpost up and he'll carry it to a new country. I mean, come on, Sileo.
Caboose. That's his new name. Jalen Caboose Hurts. How you doing? Caboose.
Super Bowl MVP.
All you have to do is just get on the caboose, get on the train, get on the Barkley train. Woo, woo. Woo, woo.
How about the Lamar Jackson?
Woo, woo.
How about the Lamar Jackson?
Well, Lamar has to actually carry a team.
What do you mean? He's got Derrick Henry. He's got all sorts of things over there.
He won 14 fucking games and went to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, he had 3 turnovers in the playoffs and got bounced.
Bro, that guy's asked to carry a team. Hurts isn't.
Okay.
That's facts. Because you even said it a year ago that Caboose Hurts, I mean, you had iconic running game.
So you'd rather have a guy that has to carry a team and doesn't win than a good conductor who takes across the finish line?
No, I did not say that. That's not what I said. I said you've got a hell of a general manager.
Look, Big Easy, thank you for picking up on it. Literally on this effing segment. On this segment.
Yeah, no, they're going to – I said the players are going to name him third. I did. I think the players are going to name him third.
At a Super Bowl, and this guy's calling him a caboose.
Wait, no. I said I think the players are going to put him high. I didn't say Big Sills is going to put him high. See, here's one thing you got to listen to, my friends, is that Sills is a master of words. And I'll always be and how you phrase a question.
You're really not.
How
John
I phrase
McCollum
a topic.
has you beaten in this regard.
Have I? M. Reyes. Are you crazy? M. Reyes.
Johnny Mac takes you to school, baby. Debate school. Ever heard of it? Debate school with J Mac.
Too bad I don't run from anyone. How you doing?
Okay, Sileo.
He come on anytime. Whenever you want to get it, I'm ready to rock. Anytime, anywhere, any place. I am just like your boy Hurts. I'll play anywhere, anytime.
Okay.
How you doing?
All right, Sileo.
All right. How do you like your depth at wide receiver?
Great. John Dotson's a stud, man. If we could just get him the ball a little bit more, we'd have the best trio in the league.
Is there anybody not on your team that you're not happy with? Let me go there.
We'll see.
Name me a position that you're not very happy at.
Makuba.
Really? That's
Makuba.
You think you think there's gonna be more struggles at the safety position than at the corner position?
I do. I do. That's why I think it's possible that Cooper DeJean is a safety this year. I wouldn't like that.
Moving him
Look,
around.
Dominique is right, though. I want a Sileo versus McMullen segment every day. You want to talk about numbers, Xander. I agree. Let's make it happen. You know what? I'm going to torture these guys. All right? We're making the content here. Dominique, great idea. Let's torture John and Sileo and make them team up daily. I think it'd be great for the metrics on the channel and the growth of the channel.
Do me a favor here. Get your Bible book out again over there with takes.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
Zach Bond. Zach Bond will have more sacks than Nolan Smith this year.
You also predicted that Jalix Hunt would have more sacks than Nolan Smith.
Okay.
All right. I don't hate that prediction.
Would it shock you if he led the Eagles in sacks, Zach Bond? Would that shock you?
Yeah, that would shock me.
But dude, they're putting him out there.
Saying though, the way they play defense is more versatile now, and they don't rely on edge rushers getting to the quarterback. Yeah. And if they have now Campbell and Bond, maybe they rush them more, and that's the extra guy that can use the offensive line and the offense that way. I see what you're saying. Possibly, but I wouldn't bet on it. But I can't say I'd be floored because you just brought it up and it makes sense.
How about this? Listen, if they're going to move Cooper around the way they are, you know what else they're talking about moving around? Jalen Carter. They're talking about moving Carter around the D-line. That's why this thing's going to look different this year, Xander. You got more versatility dudes this year than you did maybe a year ago, and I didn't think that was possible. You're creating more versatility with guys. Okay? I mean, dude, I think there's a great chance this guy's going to be playing out there on the corner out there, and I'm talking about Zach Bond rushing. You may see him on nickel rushing more outside, and especially when Campbell gets back. I'm telling you, bro. All the quarterback has to do is just grab the reins, hold on tight, and just hang on. He and Nicky can just hang on.
Dude, that's bullshit, man. I'm sorry. That is a load of freaking baloney on your part. It really is.
Well, the only one thing that changed when a guy came here that won the Super Bowl was Saquon Barkley. Same dudes were here in the offense a year ago.
I mean, that's just BS, though.
That is not BS. It's fact. The same team that you had in 23 came back in 24. You only added one different dude, and it was Barkley.
What else happened? Wait.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
No.
They won the Super Bowl.
Wait.
And the guy had the most historic rush. And the guy had the most historic. Hey, Z-Mac, I am telling you, he had the most.
Who's he calling Z-Mac? This is my show now, Sileo. Sing it, buddy. Sing it, Sales. Fucking Sileo coming in here. Dog walking. Look, I got the main chair now. Are you kidding me, Sills? What else happened in 24, Sileo? What else happened?
Josh
the
Sweat.
Defense went from
Sweat
to what?
Was the best player on the field, and the defense was spectacular.
You acting like adding Saquon Barkley made the defense go from 31-1.
Well, I know this. Adding Saquon Barkley, you won the Super Bowl.
No, also improved. The defense went from 31-1.
Absolutely. Okay, it was the defense and it was Barkley. That was the difference from 23, was it not? You can't even say that.
What?
Defense was number one ranked, and you had the number one rusher in the league.
No, I mean, yeah, that's true. But that both of those things were new for 24 compared to 23.
Right.
So to say that the only reason that they won in 24 was because of Barkley and it was all on Jalen, otherwise when they didn't win before Barkley showed up is a naive comment.
It's not. It's what happened.
Wait a second. When the defense was top five, there's only been 2 times in Jalen Hurts' career when the defense was top 5.
They were number one in the NFL at defense, and they had a guy who was the leading rusher in the National Football League. And that was added to the team at 24.
And what about 22?
That's
not five
what
defense,
happened.
no Saquon Barkley. Jalen was in the Super Bowl. Yes?
Yes. Okay. And you were second in defense.
You need a good defense to win in the NFL.
You were second in defense, and you had, I think, a top 8, was it?
Wait a second. So Joe Burrow misses the playoffs last year, throwing for 5K, and everybody glazes him and talks like he's the greatest coming, the second coming of Christ, because he throws for 5K yards, and he's got a shit defense. But when Jalen has a shit defense and loses in round 1 of the playoffs, it doesn't matter.
The same comment that he brings up that you can't penalize Jalen Hurts for having a good football team, he's penalizing Joe Burrow because he has a shitty defense, and Joe Burrow can't overcome the defense. That's exactly what that is.
No, it's the opposite.
Okay, no.
I know why Joe Burrow missed the playoffs last year. Because he had a shit defense.
Okay.
I know why. I know why Jalen Hurts didn't succeed in 23.
Okay.
Because he had a shit defense.
Okay. I get it. I know. And you had a number one defense. And you had a number 1 defense and a number 1 rushing attack in the NFL in 24. That's how you won the Super Bowl, dude.
Yeah, but what was the bigger influx to the team? The defense or Saquon?
The defense. And then Barkley.
Yes.
And then Barkley.
Well, they went to the Super Bowl in 22 without Barkley.
If you were going to put the storylines of the 2024 season for the Eagles, you tell me, what would be the top 3 stories?
For what? For the storylines for
the storyline for the 2024 world champion Philadelphia Eagles. And I'll give you mine first. They had a historic defense that was unprecedented in the organization's history, including gangrene. You had a historic running attack in the history of the NFL, and you had a great historic game by the quarterback in the Super Bowl. Would be the 3 storylines, but it would be in that order.
I agree. I don't think that's crazy, but that doesn't dismiss the fact that
nobody's dismissing anything.
You're dismissing Jalen Hurts. What Jalen Hurts has done to get
I'm telling you
to the finish line. Yes, you are, Sills.
How am I diminishing it when I'm saying the storyline of 24 is what I just said?
Well, I mean, because
dismissing it.
Well, that's the storyline of 24. What about the storyline of 22? When the common denominator is if Jalen has a top 5 defense, the team is going to the Super Bowl. Saquon wasn't here in 22.
Go back in history. The storyline in 23 was the collapse of the defense and the absolute incompetence of the offense, including the quarterback's play in the second half of the season for the meltdown that they had, including the playoff meltdown. So if you want to go back,
at least he got to the playoffs. Joe Burrow couldn't even sniff the playoffs.
Okay, I understand you want to go out and you want to go that lane, but if we're going to go back in 22, there's always 23 to always hang your hat on as well. The story I'm talking about, I'm not this dude. I just said the guy had a historic Super Bowl. I didn't dismiss him. That's not what I did.
You said he was the caboose 8 minutes ago.
Okay, I just told you the storylines though were the 3 things. Come on, man.
You said he was the caboose 8 minutes ago. You're making me sound like I'm certified, verifiably.
No, he was the caboose. He was the caboose starting the year. He had a. If you heard me right, I said
You're gaslighting me. I didn't say this. 8 minutes ago, I heard you call him a caboose.
Well, if he heard me correctly, I said he had a great Super Bowl. I didn't say he had a great 2024. You didn't hear me say that.
Man, that was record speed for a gaslight.
Oh, wait a minute. How about this? I never in a million years said he had a great season. John McMullen even says it.
I know, John McMullen, the gospel of John McMullen.
Hit that fucking like button here. Hey, by the way, I miss my boys. We're getting them dudes on.
I know. We missed them last week.
I know. 4:30. We're going to get those dudes.
500 and Mark Holmes. That should be good.
All right, guys, do me a favor. We're going to read Super Chats now. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. You guys, I got to say this, Xander, the best group of people to talk to during an off season is what we have here. I mean, I'm going to say it, and I'll say it to you guys. I do that show in Tampa. I enjoy it, but I enjoy this way more.
That's because Philly people are actually dope. Tampa's a bunch of lames.
Oh, my God.
Dude, lames. Every sports fan, all these sports fans.
Xander, you want to hear the question that the media guys won't ask in Tampa? Listen to this. So there's a comment going around that if the Rays, which have won 16 of 19 ball games, they're one back of the Yankees in the East, right? If they win and go to the playoffs, baseball's going to move the playoffs out of Tampa and move it to Miami because they're playing at Steinbrenner Field. Not one fucking media person in that town has asked the player or the manager this. Hey, what do you feel about Major League Baseball potentially moving the playoff? What if they get to the fucking World Series? See, you have to remember, baseball.
If they got to the World Series, they're not playing at their home place?
No, because the hurricane a year ago, they're playing at Steinbrenner Field. They're playing at like a minor league ballpark of 10,000.
Right. Wait, is the hurricane? They still haven't fixed it?
They haven't fixed it. So get this. You know that the payout and the salaries are based on attendance. Okay, so like the winning share, if you win the World Series, is based on attendance. The players, nobody's asked the question. You imagine you moved that out of fucking Philly?
I know.
People would burn the building down.
That's because Philly's GOAT.
Absolutely. I was like, holy shit.
Philly's
Let's read some of these supers. They're playing great baseball, but it's a shitty ownership.
You moving to Philly? No. Me and Sileo had a talk pre-show. He's like, it's like going family can't even get the guy to leave his basement.
I'm going to Florida, man.
Kyle, yeah, I don't blame you. Kyle Kokorski. It's why Hurts is a case of ramen noodles. They work.
Look at my boy coming hard in there. Look at Kyle in there.
Holy shit, this guy's getting more and more delusional each day.
Kyle, way to go. You keep hammering that, Bubby. You keep hanging in there, man. You keep hanging in there.
Stephen Mosteller. September crow season. Hope Big Sills is hungry.
It was a terrible plate last year, I'll tell you that. But it was worth it.
Let me tell you, you were eating a lot of crow last year. I don't know if we can top that this year.
No, it wasn't a lot.
Leon Banks says, crazy that we had Mike Wallace and Miles Austin. Yeah, we had a lot of shitty players on our team, man.
Dude, prior to that Jalen Reagor pick, your drafts were absolute horseshit. They were just terrible. Now, this guy can't miss. He can't miss. Dude, do I think that this class will be good? I do. Why would I not?
Resist Sileo-ification.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Don't worry, honey.
That's Kyle Kokorski. Ask me on with no link. Mark, I just texted you the link. Oh, no, I didn't. Mark, my bad, dog. Mark, it's 4:13. Shut up, dude.
Hey, Mark, hang in there, man.
I like to make Mark wait a little bit. He's a Cowboy fan. He's used to waiting. He's been waiting for 38 years.
Oh, man. Holy cow.
There you go, Marky Mark. The link is coming to you, brother. Good to see you, Mark Holmes.
I love
it. Where were we? I got distracted with Holmesy. Kyle Kokorski. We could have had the best safety in Kyle Hamilton. Instead, we drafted private. I think Kyle might be a Cowboy. Kyle might be a Cowboy fan. That's how he found the show, is Mark Holmes.
Look at Kyle. Kyle, see what they're doing to you now? They're going to try to beat on you a little bit here, man. Don't let them do it to you.
Akbar Akbizi Fashizi says, I have a problem with Coop changing positions after seeing him plant King Henry like Johnny Appleseed. What's your take, Sills?
Man, I like the idea of them moving him around. I do. I like the idea of them moving him around, man. You know where I'd like to see him play? I'd like to see him be a safety. I think he'd be an all-pro safety, first team. That nickel thing, dude's not a real position. It's kind of fucking gimmicky.
No, it's not.
Okay? It's a total gimmick. Well, you're paid like it.
Well, not really. Somebody just got $50 million, but yeah, you're not paid compared to
highest paid guy makes 12.
Look at NJ. NJ, what's up, NJ? I haven't seen you in a little bit, brother.
Cow. Look at Maniac here.
Guy shows up out of a cannon for the first time in months. Yo, drop link. I'll show Holmes what's up. You guys rule, man. Big Sills, Big Z. Thank you, NJ Fishing.
This guy's been here for like forever, man. And I
I
appreciate
tell you,
him.
you ever check out NJ's channel? I love his channel.
I have not. You know what? I have to.
Guy's legendary. He's as entertaining as Big Sills, if you can believe
Really?
it. Yes.
So this guy's actually he's good.
I love him. I love watching his channel. During the season, when I was working 20 hours a day, my time off would be I would watch NJ Fishing Maniac in the middle of the day for 30 minutes because it was just relaxing.
Hey, NJ Fishing Maniac. I don't want Xander to comment on this, but let me tell you what he did when I first got here. So Xander said, I go, hey, I want to get this particular dude on my show. So Xander sends me a clip of this guy. This guy's name was Glenn Mancow. Or is that how you say his name? And Xander sends me this link. I listen to it. Macnow? All right. So get this. He sends me the link. The next day, I go like this. That's all right. I'll pass.
I'm good. I'm gonna pass on that one. Yeah, I don't know how that worked. That was a long career. Everybody.
You know what he said? Xander goes, hey, you got to listen to it. And I went, yeah, no, that's all right. We're good.
You can't be giving it too much inside baseball, Sileo. Actually, you can't. I don't give a shit. Are you kidding me, dude?
I forgot. Yeah,
we've ruffled enough feathers out here. Wait a second. Mark, are you still in here? Because my text isn't sending to the great Mark. What's going on? Mark, did you block me, Mark? Mark, did you block me for saying that you've been waiting your whole life, Mark? Here he is. He says, have no link yet. It says not delivered. Let me see this, Mark. Let me see what's going on. Did Mark Holmes block my text number?
Jesus Christ.
Did Mark Holmes block my text number because the Cowboys stink? Mark, don't blame me, dude. Blame Jerry. You're blaming me for it. Your team stinks. He says, he texts me, what the fuck? You should have it now, Mark.
Look at this guy here. Thank you,
Mark.
Look at Jim here, man. This is good here. Look at Jim.
Oh, crap. Jimbo. Thank you, brother.
Thank you,
20
dude.
beaners. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Bo. That's
Sills
great.
Is made for Philly. Sills is made for Greenwich, Connecticut. The guy's a freaking Greenwich guy.
Hey, yeah, that's what I am, right? Yeah. Okay.
Guy vacations on Cape Cod and shit. Dude. He's not a Philly guy.
Yeah.
Great sports city, never run out of content. I don't know how you did Tampa radio all them years. Philly is definitely made in that facility.
I'll tell you what, digging for gold down there is a little different than digging for gold here. It's a lot easier.
Yeah. Philly, you don't have to dig far.
No. And let me put another thing out there to you, Xander, here. Holy shit, man. I mean, there is no doubt, man. If you better have a backbone, or you know what? I see why Josh Innes and them guys got run out of fucking town.
Yeah, you got to hold your ground.
You got to hold your water, man, or you're gonna get beat up, dog. You know what the key is? They come back every day.
Nah, there's two ways. You either go you go soft buttercup, or you go Angelo Cataldi, who has literally the worst takes on God's green earth, literally calls a Hall of Fame coach terrible, and Nick Sirianni terrible, and Doug Peterson terrible, and everybody stinks that wins to Angelo Cataldi, and somehow everybody still loves him. It's pretty funny.
Right, because he knows what he's doing, like Trump.
It's like Big Sills.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He's a caboose. Wait a second.
How about this? So Trump goes like this. Yeah, I think I'll run for a third term. Everyone's like, oh, no. Oh, what did he say? I told you he'd be a dictator. I'm like, that's fucking classic. Hey, why did I think of that?
That's because trolls can't trolls know trolls. So you can't, if somebody's trolling.
You can't cheat.
I got it, Xander. Dan's dumbass rubbing off on you now.
Oh, what? Wait a minute. Here's something so Mark knows.
Mark, I think it's quite the opposite, actually. I think I'm rubbing off on Sills a little bit.
Well, let me see. I'll tell you, that show's been actually pretty decent that you're doing, man. You're putting great content up, man. I'll tell you that. You got great content.
I'm mining. Let me tell you, it's one thing. Wait a second. It's one thing to mine content in Philly when you can do lists. It's another thing to mine content in Philly when your co-host won't do list. All right. Then you got to go to a different depth of the well, Big Sills.
Dude, I'm with you, man. I mean,
oh man,
I don't know. You're trying to create and then you got two guys on beating up. You're going, well, I don't want to talk about anything. I'm going like, well, what the fuck you want to do here, man? What are we going here? I mean, what do you want to talk about? Let me guess. Harry Mays?
All right, get me out of here, please.
Hey,
for the love of
hey, by the way, look at this. One more time.
I got that book too. Yeah, they sent me one.
We support this guy, right?
Yeah.
I like him, man.
Yeah, he's cool.
Oh, I got one more question. Would you be interested at all in OBJ?
No.
Part of your wide receiving core.
What a stupid question. OBJ. We have Jahan Dotson.
So you think Jahan Dotson's better than OBJ?
I don't think the third receiver is getting the ball, whether it's Jahan Dotson, whether it's OBJ, or whether it's Prime Megatron. I don't think the third receiver is getting the football. How about that?
I don't think the first receiver is getting the fucking football.
What do you mean? He's got 4,000 yards in 3 seasons.
This guy last year was 47.
Wait. He's been in the
47
years. He's got 4,000 yards.
Guy was 50th in targets a year ago.
Oh my God. He missed 4 games.
Oh, because why? He was blocking in the run game?
No, he missed 3 games early with a hamstring, and we sat out week 18 because we're so good. We had already secured our playoff spot.
We're so good at running the ball. That's why the passing offense was 30th. Wow.
God. Number 1 defense and number 1 running game.
I know. And like I said,
30th in passing. Why?
You don't have to rely on
31st
once again, back to the conversation. You don't have to rely on your quarterback.
Here we go again.
No,
well, this is a record.
Your own questions with that.
Picture the Xander Sileo segment like a NASCAR track. Normally, it takes like a couple days. Normally, it takes a couple days for Sileo to circle back to the same point. He's going around the track like 3 times today.
His own question every time. We had an iconic running game. I know you don't have to rely on your quarterback. I get.
Oh, Sileo.
Yeah. Hey, this going to be a fun year.
I know it is. It's going to start off with a bang in 71 days when the banner drops on Jerry. Jerry Jones has to board his private jet, take it to the city of brotherly love, park it in South Philadelphia, march his ass through the ruckus Philadelphia crowd in Lincoln Financial, and then proceed to watch a second Super Bowl banner drop for the Eagles in the last decade. I mean, is that not a glorious start to the football season, or is it not? I mean, come on. So I think even you're excited to see that.
Oh, I want to see how that's going to make Jerry Jones feel when he sees that the Eagles are dropping banners now on him.
Wait, is this a fake Mark Holmes in the chat? Mark, is that you in the chat, or is that a fakie? Because I thought I gave you a wrench to block out the fakesters. People love faking Mark Holmes. That's how you know you made it on YouTube, when people fake you. Like 440 Mark Holmes accounts I've blocked that aren't actually Mark Holmes.
Mark Holmes. Wait. So Mark Holmes they're trying to duplicate Mark Holmes?
Oh my gosh, they try and do and 500 and Sileo, and there's some dupes in me, and there's all sorts of dupes out there, Sills. But there's a lot of Mark, especially on our channel.
All right, man. Hey, Zeke, keep kicking ass on that show, man. You guys, it's really a must watch.
Make sure you refuel. You're going around the track a lot. Make sure you stop.
Oh no, I crossed the finish line too, my man. Don't worry about it, Junior. I will always cross the finish line.
All right, Sills. I love you, brother.
Big T, I appreciate you, man.
All right, see you, everybody.
Make sure you guys please hit that like button. So I made a comment this morning before we bring Mark Holmes. By the way, also Philly 500. So let me give you my assessment of the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm going to be fair here. I could see Mark in the green room ducking his head already going, holy shit. I'm just making a comment to you that this is Jerry's last year. Okay? This is his last year running the team. I mean, I don't think they're going to go out quietly. I think that football team's going to try to do every single thing they can to try to make a run at that NFC East title. I think the NFC East is going to be pretty decent this year. All right. We missed it last week. By the way, you know who took the place? Do you know who took the place of Mark Holmes and Philly 500 last week? Bill Goldberg. So we had Bill Goldberg on last week because, again, we had to get a big name star in there. So just to take over for these two guys because they have owned this. And without further ado, our friend, Mark Holmes, legendary Dallas Cowboy content creator, and the legendary Philly 500, who could not be denied. This man here is on the road, and here he is with us here. We have the champ, and we have...
And the chump.
Oh, and the chump. Look at, hey, there he is.
No argument.
500. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing great. Wonderful. How are you?
All good.
Couple things real quick. Xander, I got the check mark. So if you ever have a question, that check mark means it's over 100,000, and that's me. So no, you didn't have the wrench on it. Second question is, did our replacement do better numbers than me and Philly 500?
No. That's Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, I guess.
No. Now, we were in every single wrestling publication across the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. But no, you guys are a fabulous must-watch. And you know why? It's because of the fan bases. It is.
Okay.
And it's because, you know why? I think there's pity for you, Mark.
No,
I really
y'all
do.
enjoy blood. No, y'all enjoy blooding my ass up. You love seeing me suffer. Let's be real here. Everybody wants to see a freaking train wreck.
Philly?
Agreed.
That's what it is.
Agreed. Very easy.
Don't you agree, Philly? The number one question mark for you guys going into this year is this. Whether you think you have the personnel to replace, whether you think you have the talent on the football team to replace the people that have left. Isn't this the story of the Eagles? The defensive turnover that you've had on defense is the number one storyline on how that will look. Either way, it's the storyline because you're bringing basically 10 of 11 starters back on offense, and the Super Bowl starting team, 5 dudes, if you count Burks, who started in the Super Bowl, 5 dudes are not on that team. Isn't that the storyline for the Eagles? I'm not saying good or bad, whether you're not going to replace it, but the storyline is the biggest question in 25 for the Eagles is the defensive turnover. How big an issue will that be, in your opinion?
I think it is the biggest issue. I think that we all have to accept that, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that a lot of the guys that they have ready to replace the guys they lost were already planned well ahead of time, and they're pretty confident that those guys can play. I would expect that maybe it takes a few weeks. It takes first half of the season, but I think by the end of the year, I think we could have what is a better defense than was a year ago.
Wow. So you think it could be number one again, in your opinion?
Yes, I do.
All right.
I definitely do.
Let me ask you this here, Mark, on the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. What's the biggest thing you're looking forward to this year with the Cowboys season starting on September 4th?
The biggest thing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Shotty does with this team because it's really unique right now because there's nothing going on. And as far as Cowboys, typically, we're usually worried about, last year was CeeDee Lamb. Is CeeDee Lamb going to show up for camp and all that? Micah doesn't have his contract and he may hold in, but you're not worried about is he going to be traded and all that. It's kind of weird because usually we're listening to Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat and this, that, and the other. There's none of this with it. So it's been almost kumbaya in Dallas land. The question is going to be with all of this stuff between Greek dancing and, everybody going out and playing golf together, what kind of team shows up that first week going against the Super Bowl champions while they're dropping the flag? And that's what I really want to see. It's going to be difficult because we have, so many new players that are in there. And most people say our position groups all suck. And you got a new coach and we're going against, the juggernaut there, the Philadelphia Eagles at their party. And can they show up? That's what I want to see.
Okay. I want to ask you a question here because I get a debate on this all the time, Mark. Do you believe that CeeDee Lamb is a better receiver than A.J. Brown?
I think, yes, I do. And I'm going to say the fact that CeeDee Lamb has been really – no, hold on. Just listen here.
All right. I'm listening.
CeeDee Lamb, the fact that this guy is the only target, and the Dallas Cowboys literally have no separation. And you can go back through the numbers. The Cowboys have been in the 30s the last 3 years. The fact that he even had Cooper Rush thrown to his ass last year. This guy has gotten over 1,100 yards every single year and is only right now, this is insane to think about this, that he's only 36 catches away from what Dez Bryant did in his whole career for the Dallas Cowboys. He broke Michael Irvin's all-time single season 1,700 yard season. And that's not having anybody who can take anything off of you on the other side. Everybody knows if we stop CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys aren't going to do shit, but they still can't stop him. A.J. Brown?
What do you think?
Devontae Smith on the other side.
Philly, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb. Do you believe what he's just said, that CeeDee Lamb is a better player than A.J.?
Of course he's going to say that.
Why would I believe that guy that's in the slot all the time is going to be better than the guy that's on the outside? Of course, CeeDee Lamb's going to get all the targets. There's nobody else to throw to, okay? And they stick him in the slot. A.J. Brown has to share targets. A.J. Brown is more lethal after the catch. A.J. Brown is more physical. A.J. Brown can go multiple places on the field. CeeDee Lamb, to me, is a slot wide receiver. That's what he is. And now that he's got other targets to throw to, let's see how he acts when he doesn't get the targets that he thinks he should get. Because if you got better receivers, you're going to have more targets go to other players, right? And we'll see what CeeDee Lamb, we saw what he did in the playoffs when he didn't get a couple throws his way. He started crying like a baby. So let's see how he handles it. But no, A.J. Brown is the better receiver. CeeDee Lamb's the best slot receiver in football. A.J. Brown is a better wide receiver.
Well, one thing, let me add a little something here. You are right about that meltdown against the Green Bay Packers. But what you actually have seen from CeeDee Lamb from that point is tremendous amount of growth, because he had basically admitted on one of the Micah Parsons podcasts at the Super Bowl that I've got to grow up. And since that time, of course, he got his contract. Going through and dealing with the whole situation of not getting his contract, not being there in camp, losing his quarterback, and playing through injuries last year. Last year sucked for the team, but what he was actually able to do with the injuries, with Cooper Rush and things, actually, to me, was one of his better seasons.
Well, how about this, though? Do you believe that CeeDee's better than Dez Bryant?
Dez Bryant was a better one-on-one 50-50 ball guy. He was a guy that you could write it out on the ground or he's going to make it up on the way. I think CeeDee Lamb is a better inside runner, but like you just said, in the slot. He is better in traffic, and he's a lot quicker.
I got one for you here, Philly. You believe that you have a lot of talent on your football team, especially on the defensive side, right? Yeah. You believe that you think these replacements are going to be good replacements. So I threw this at, a lot of folks here today. Can you name me a safety that you drafted since the time when Brian Dawkins walked out of the building in 2008 that you thought you had a pretty good safety? Can you name me one that organization has ever drafted since 8? Okay, well, why am I to believe then that you have a great safeties now? Now, look, here's my take on Reed and where I'm going with this. I think Reed Blankenship's a good player. Is that guy Derwin James? No fucking way is that Derwin James. He's a good player. Now, I think he's a better player with somebody next to him, because look at Gardner Johnson. The 2 times Gardner Johnson lined up back there in the secondary, you went to 2 Super Bowls and you won 1.
Right.
I mean, don't you think he's more of a product, Reed, of the people around him? I mean, you're going to be starting potentially Makuba, who's never played it down, and you're going to be putting Keely Ringo, who's never started an NFL down in his entire life. Is that any room for concern?
Well, I mean, they've got to go and they got to pass the test. I mean, obviously they got to go play and show it. But I'll say this. the way they've drafted since they've gone on this streak where they've been drafting good players and really changed it
Since
after the Rager draft.
Yep.
They've changed their philosophy and how they draft, how they look at guys. So now with the success that they've had at other positions that they would struggle with before, I gotta give them a little bit of room to say that this kid they think is the right safety for them. When you listen to Vic Fangio speak at his press conference and he talked about CJ Gardner getting traded, he's like, I had no problem with it. He seemed like almost happy to get rid of him. So what did they see with Mukuba? What did they see? What was the real reason they traded CJ Gardner-Johnson? Me personally, I didn't want to trade him. But Mukuba is a product of the new way they draft. So I have a lot of hope that he is going to be good to go. In the past, you're right. Nate Late Allen and all those guys, they stunk. But I don't think we're drafting the same way, and I don't expect the same type of player to be coming at safety.
I agree with you. I think since the Jalen Reagor trade, Howie said it's all me. All right, Mark, how do you feel about Turnstile Guyton playing left tackle for you?
Come on, man. Now, let's give the guy actually a chance, because I'm going to say the problem with him, first of all, when training camp started last year, nobody thought that he was going to be starting the season. But unfortunately, we had an injury that kind of forced him into it. And we're talking about a guy who only had 9 starts in college. Now, he's owned up to last year being a disappointment, and you've seen him literally rechange his body and his demeanor. Now, does that translate to him being great? I don't know. But he's going to have to improve. And I wish that the Cowboys had basically not anointed him and actually had some competition for him, but basically he's going to be our starting left tackle. Hopefully, we'll be really strong in the middle that'll be able to help him out, because he does have Tyler Smith right next to him, and that is huge. And Cooper Beebe should be taking another step, and I'm actually looking. The face is there. Yeah, what's wrong with you, man? You got some kind of twitch there? You got some eating a
I got a bull. It's called a bullshit pick. I can't help it.
All right. Okay.
When I hear bullshit.
Okay. I tell you what, Tyler Booker, he ain't scared. He's coming for you, buddy.
Wait. Are you saying that you can't wait for Tyler Booker to line up against Jalen Carter?
Yeah, actually can. You know what? Hey, he's talking the talk. I want to see him walk the walk. Okay?
Yeah.
You called out. You tugged on Superman's cape. Let's show that you got some shit there. But this has been his MO from high school through college and everything else. And so far, he is not disappointed.
All right. Hey, Philly, you know what today is, right?
What's today?
What is today?
Today's the 32nd anniversary of Jerome's passing.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Holy crap. You're right. Yeah. Jesus.
June 25th.
Yeah.
June 25th, he passed away today. Okay. I mean, I think this kid Carter's got some ability to do that same kind of stuff and be in that same kind of conversation there. Hey, man, how do you feel about the depth on your football team this year? I mean, you know, those guys who were – those guys – I'm going to throw this at you. Then I'm going to ask you the same question, Mark. Philly, I mean, the same guys that now are going to step up to be starters like Moro Ojomo, Jalix Hunt, and some of these other guys that have to step into roles and take over for people. How do you feel about the depth on the football team?
I actually think it's not that bad, really. I like the depth at the defensive line, to be honest with you, because I like Moro Ojomo. I thought he was a player that came on. I think if you look at Jalix Hunt in the playoffs, he was really, really good. And then the guys that they drafted, Azeez Ojulari is coming off the bench, off the rotation. I think he's good for 6 to 7 sacks. So I actually like the depth, especially on the defensive line. Especially what we've heard about guys like Ojomo, guys like even Jordan Davis, how he's looking so far. I think we're going to be all right. I like that they added some depth at linebacker. I think really the question is going to be that safety spot and that corner spot. Those are the two positions where you might not have the depth that you think you have, and you may have to make a move at some point.
Before I ask you that question, Mark, you think that Dak leads the NFL in passing yards this year?
I hope not, because I'm hoping the team is actually more balanced. Because here's the problem: if it's going to be hard not to want to throw the football, having George Pickens, who was actually the #1 rated deep threat, and having CeeDee Lamb. And they may look at it and say, well, we're going to need to pass the ball to kind of open it up for the running backs to loosen up the defenses, which is great. But you really and truly need to be balanced. So, you know, as much as I hate the Eagles, and I do hate the Eagles.
He wants them to be like Jalen Hurts.
Well, I'd like to have a situation like that where I don't have to throw 40 times every week for us to win. You guys have a great formula. I'm not going to just, you know, as much as I hate you, I have to recognize that you guys have actually built a great team. Now, my team, there's a lot of question marks and there's a lot of new working pieces. The advantage that you have is, even though you let go a lot of defensive players, you still have familiarity with everybody that's there. We have all new coaches. We have half of our roster, because we gutted it the year before, are all new pieces that are all having to fit in. And for us, week 1 to play against Super Bowl champions with all that, that's actually not going to be an easy thing to do. However, it gives us a little bit of advantage because you don't know exactly what the Cowboys are going to be doing. I don't. You know, we hear Brian Schottenheimer say we're going to try and be balanced. Are we going to try and be a running team? Or are we going to go ahead and take, you know, this Ferrari and go ahead and try and run them down the field and go deep on your ass? I don't know.
I've got to hand it to Philly 500. Got the family with him. He's at Disney getting ready. You know, the guys are hanging out there and he's listening to this BS here. I've got to ask you one. Now, let me ask you one question here, though. Well, let me ask Philly 500 this. Philly, why every time do we talk to Mark, and why do I feel that when I hear this, that he's trying to convince himself of the why do I, you know, Mark, you the way you talk like you're trying to convince yourself into 12 wins. It just sounds like
he's delusional. This is mad cowboy delusion.
We have wait a minute. We've got question marks all over the place. You know, we got Mozzie Smith. You know, he's our main guy in the middle that you always joke. Okay, we got Jay Tola, which is saying you're going to get a rookie 5th round draft pick and think that he's going to be a stud out the box. We got 2 crippled D-backs that are coming back that are in there. We don't know who's going to be in the secondary. You just talked about the human turnstile. What are you talking about? I'm talking about trying to convince myself we're going to be a 12-win team.
So you think 8 wins then?
No, I think it'll be more than 8. I think it'll be
9?
more like 10. I think it'll be 10. 10 to 11.
10?
Okay, well,
11.
10.
So 1 game difference from 11 to 12.
So wait a minute. But where are you going?
I said 10 to 11.
You know what I would do if I were you? Here's what I would do.
Jump.
Wait. Here's what I would do. If you don't win, if you don't win a playoff game this year, bro, I'm trading Dak Prescott, and I'm trading his.
Wait.
And I'm trying to get Joe Burrow.
Don't pull a Cam Newton on me.
Trying to get Joe
Burrow.
If you listen to some of the bullshit that's out there, they'll go through and tell you that the Cowboys have the worst rushing attack in football. Right or wrong?
Say that again.
Somebody rated the Cowboys rushing attack as the worst one in football.
What's so good about it?
I said no. I'm saying that. Listen to what I'm saying.
It can't be that good.
Okay, I agree.
It's not.
Exactly. So, in our offensive line, how does that look with the human turnbuckle in it? And you've laughed about Tyler Booker.
I think that you have a C at best.
Okay. All right. And how about our defensive line?
I think that's a C minus D line.
Okay. Secondary?
It stink. We
it's a C.
Oh, yeah, we agree.
Okay. So if you're saying that basically everything is a C minus on the team, right? Running game stinks. The offensive line, sorry. The defensive line, sorry. The secondary's weak. I don't know where you think there's a strength on the team. You turn around and you say, if Dak doesn't win a playoff game this year, then you need to trade him. When you basically said everything in the team stinks.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, you got to rebuild. You got to rebuild.
Because I can win a Super Bowl with a lesser quarterback. You know how? You know why? I can. Yeah. I've seen Brad Johnson, and I've seen guys like Joe Flacco. I've seen guys
recent
like
history.
Foles. I've seen guys win Super Bowls. When you do you know why the Eagles are dominant over you right now? Here's why. Here's the total, and here's the only mark. anything else you debate. Look at what they're doing in Chicago right now. Philly, think about this. They went out and traded for the guy from Kansas City for O-line. They traded a guy with the Rams for their O-line. Look at this. Left tackle, homegrown, Mulatto. Left guard, homegrown, Landon. Center, homegrown. Right tackle, homegrown. The only interchangeable piece is the right guard position. Look on the defensive side. Davis, homegrown. Carter, homegrown. Morrow, homegrown. Smith, homegrown. That's where they're lapping you, is because they are in the lines. They're growing these guys like weeds. You've got to go up and lies the problem to put on the other side of Park. And when you miss on Amazi Smith, let's say this. Say
not just Amazi, though.
Hey, check this out. Say Mazi's decent. You can't have him be decent. They can afford Jordan Davis to be decent when you've got Jalen Carter being exceptional.
I will give you exactly that. You got to have the homegrown talent. For whatever reason, okay, now we've had 2 pooch screws in the last first-round picks that we have not gotten what you would think between Tyler Guyton and Mazi Smith. But not only that, we're also been screwing the pooch with second-round picks. When you got a guy like Schoonmaker, who right now is looking at being 4th on the roster, as a number 2 pick. When you got guys like Boss Man Fat, who literally just ran and killed somebody who's playing USFL. We literally have not been able to get lights out players in the last couple of years, especially the second round. The last decent second round pick we had was Trayvon Diggs, and you're beginning to question some of his work ethic after having the 2 ACL injuries back to back.
So let me ask you this. Couple last ones here for you guys. For you, linebacking core, Philly. PFF just ranked you guys number 1. Say that you guys.
I don't put much stock in the PFF. I love when we get ranked high, but I can't be a hypocrite about PFF. I go on them and get on them when they don't put Juergens as top 10, 12, 15 center.
Saw that.
Now I'm not gonna sit there and say that they're right. I like our linebacking core, but I don't put any stock in the PFF. I'm just gonna say that. I think that with Jahad Campbell coming in, the Smile Mundun kid, right? I think Trotter Jr. another year. I think we have enough pieces that we're going to be okay at linebacker. Zach Bowen was the important piece, and he's back. So I like what we got at linebacker.
I got to tell you this here, my friend. You see what Yahoo Sports did the other day?
Yes, I did.
No, what did they do?
Oh, wait. Let me get
that was funny.
Yahoo Sports ranked the top 10 quarterbacks heading into the 2025 season. And I was just curious on what my friend here would think about this list. So bringing this list up here. And it's pretty interesting, this list here. Let me get to it here.
That shit was funny. You know that was for shits and giggles, right?
Well, what do you mean?
Yeah, okay. There's nothing going on at this time of year. What you have to do is come up with something outrageous to make people watch, okay?
So here it is.
Not putting Dak Prescott as the only one from the NFC East there at 7 and not putting Jalen Hurts or even Russell Wilson or Washington's J.D. Daniels.
Here's the top 10 quarterbacks according to Yahoo Sports. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. Number 3, Josh Allen. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Number 5, Justin Herbert. Number 6, Stafford. Number 7, the greatness of Dak Prescott. Number 8.
This is the funniest one.
Geno Smith. Number 9, Jordan Love. And number 10, CJ Stroud. I don't know, Philly. Yahoo Sports has Geno Smith in the top.
That's why nobody reads Yahoo Sports.
Oh, shit. But, hey, it did exactly what he wanted it to do. You're talking about it. That's what it's about. It's not about being right.
You don't think Dak's a top 10 quarterback?
I do think he's a top 10 quarterback, but I also think that Jalen Hurts and Daniels are both in there too.
Where would you rank Dak, Mark? What would you rank Dak in top 10?
Considering that 2 seasons ago, he was a runner-up MVP, he is a top 10 quarterback.
But what would you rank him? Like, where do you think he fits in?
I'd probably say about 6.
Okay. Well, I want you to do me a favor then. I want you to rank the quarterbacks in the NFC East.
Ooh.
Me or him?
Okay.
Go you first, Mark.
No. Let Philly go.
Let's let
we
Philly
know
go.
he's going to say Jalen Hurts.
Go ahead.
Of course, I'm going to say Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts is my number 2 quarterback in the league.
Top 4 quarterbacks in the NFC East. Go.
Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
Russell Wilson's too old. You get 5 years ago, Russell Wilson, he'd be number 2. But I think he's shot.
Okay, how about you, Mark?
The hard part on this is because there's such a small sample size of Jalen Daniels. There's probably going to be the sophomore slump, and he's going to have some problems with his receivers. Okay, so you're basically basing this off of one season. If you're going off of last season, you would actually say Jalen Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, and then Russell Wilson. If you're talking about totality of a career, you got to say Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, and then, of course, you got a question mark on Daniels because he only had one season. You have to actually move him back down and say, actually, Russell Wilson has had a better career.
What totality of career has Dak Prescott done better than Jalen Hurts?
Numbers-wise, first of all, your guy only has to throw 23 times a game.
That guy's won
Super Bowl 23 times a game. Your guy has never thrown more than 23 TD passes in a season.
You just cried like a baby.
What it would have to be.
You just cried like a baby that you wish Dak Prescott would throw less.
Okay,
did he not just say that?
Yes,
he just said, I don't want Dak throwing 4 times a game. Come on.
You don't, because it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more difficult when you're one-dimensional. I'd like to see what your guy would have to do. Actually, I'm not wishing.
You saw what
bad.
He does. You saw what he does, Mark. He takes them.
He didn't win a Super Bowl until he got a 2,000-yard rusher.
He came one drive away from winning the Super Bowl. He was there. Jaden Daniels
but did he win? Did he win? Did it count?
The first time, no, but he came close.
All right. So he's
played,
got one Super Bowl win with a 2,000-yard rusher.
And your guy has how many?
He hasn't had a 2,000-yard rusher.
How many appearances does your guy had in the Super Bowl?
Doesn't have it.
How many in the NFC Championship? Jaden Daniels played 1 year and
has
apples
to oranges there, buddy.
Wins.
Your team versus my team.
Wins.
Your GM versus my GM.
Jaden Daniels has as many playoff wins as Dak Prescott.
Take a look at that schedule going down.
Wait a second here.
Come on.
Couple last ones here, but
we judge quarterbacks by championships, by what they do in the playoffs. That's what matters.
Okay.
Sorry.
So wait, Philly, I've got a question here for you on that though.
Philly looks good.
Do you think that people diss on Hurts because he's got a good team around him?
Yeah, I think it's like the Clyde Simmons scenario when people used to look at Clyde Simmons and say, well, they got Reggie White and Jerome Brown, and they dismissed him as just that other end, Yet when he got a chance to be by himself and neither of those guys were there, he went out and led the league in sacks. So, yeah, I think it's unfair, but I do think that Jalen Hurts gets that because of what he's got around him.
Okay, so he gets that, and you think that's unfair. Well, then I'm going to turn around and go like this to you on this. What's the difference then with Dak and with Joe Burrow and with Josh Allen when those guys don't have a good football team around them and that organization hasn't built them? You're using the same metric that you use to tell people don't gauge Jalen Hurts because the organization is good and because he's got good players around him. Okay, well then if you're using that, you got to also use the fact that, well, wait, Cincinnati, Buffalo, and some of these other places, these guys don't have good teams around them. You can't use that against those guys because those guys don't have good teams.
I don't use it
winning in the postseason.
And I'm not using it against them. No, but I'm not. I mean, those guys are top quarterbacks in this league for a reason. What Joe Burrow has taken his team to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen has played well in the playoffs. I mean, that playoff game versus the Kansas City Chiefs and Kansas City, where it was in overtime, he came off the field in overtime with the lead. He has shown that he could come up in big moments. Those guys have, at least in my opinion, I have the belief that they could win the big games. A guy like Dak Prescott, at every time he's played in the playoffs, for the most part, he stinks. Those other guys
along with everybody else on this team there too, bro.
Just like
I'm
Justin
sorry.
Herbert. I think Herbert and Dak Prescott are the same quarterback.
Well, Herbert is probably the most overrated one because
I think
they'll sit
Dak
there
are
and
the same
they'll
thing.
praise Justin Herbert, but he's looked even worse than Dak Prescott in the playoffs.
Can you name one wide
I agree.
receiver he has on that team right now? Justin Herbert.
Oh no, not off the top
Can-
of my
can-
head.
can
Well,
you
they
guys
got the
name-
kid from whatchamacallit. I like him.
Can you name a running back on that team?
No.
Well, you can name running
Can
backs
you
on my
name a
team, but
tight end?
it doesn't mean they're worth shit.
Hold on. I'm just asking you about an organization failing quarterbacks.
Well,
too.
they just lost their running back. I don't know who
They
their
did.
other running back is.
Right. I mean,
I
Eckler's
forget
now.
what the,
Eckler's
Didn't
now
they get
in
Najee?
did they get? Oh yeah, they got Najee Harris.
They got Najee.
Good luck with that. That guy's slow as molasses. He
But
stinks.
my point is again, Mark. I mean, organizations. Do you think the Cowboys have failed Dak Prescott?
Take a look at some of the offensive linemen that we've had out there and things. Take a look at the lack of actually trying to get weapons. And, here it is. We'll get rid of Tony Pollard and we'll bring back Zeke. Yeah, come on. You think that's actually, providing a quarterback what he needs?
Now, this is where I give the Eagles credit. They have not failed Hurts.
No, they have not.
Okay. They have consistently built. You know what they've built around Philly? And you tell me if you agree or dis. They built around his deficiencies. And I think every organization should build around a quarterback's deficiencies. Okay. I mean, he's not asked to carry a football team. Well, he's the only guy in the NFL that has that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was asked to play great in a big game, he did. Okay. I mean, there's nobody else.
Here's the reality of it, though. Fortunately, you're never going to find out how good the guy really is because you don't have to have it.
But
that is a luxury. That's what I said. That's a luxury. Who cares? If I wouldn't care if I'm winning Super Bowls, I don't care if my quarterback had 10 TDs. It doesn't matter.
Do you think?
I wish I had that.
Do you think, Mark, we ever found out how good Aiman was?
No, because he only had one season where he had over 20 TD passes. That's the perfect scenario. That's called winning. And that's where you ask me. Will Dak lead the league in passing? I hope not, because then that means we're one-dimensional, and you're living by the sword and dying by the sword. When you are able to run the football and throw the football, it's too much for me to have to cover and stop. That's the perfect scenario. That is, why try and reinvent the wheel?
That's the only thing, Philly, that gets me is that, the same metric that people go like this with Jalen is that you're penalizing him because he has good players around him. No, I'm not. But I'm also going to take that same metric that you guys use. If I see Josh Allen, I can't name a fucking player on that Buffalo team that could start in Philly on the offense. Yeah. There's not one player.
But still,
so why does he seem to hurt him? But why does he
seem to hurt him?
Yeah, but why does that? Wait a minute. Why does that the luxury for him that he doesn't get that same thing going? Well, he doesn't have a good team around him.
Well, I think he does. I mean, everybody pretty much universally puts Josh Allen as number 2 or 3 quarterback at worst.
He won the MVP.
4.
I mean, I get it.
I mean, he gets. I think he gets praise. I think guys that throw the big numbers up get the praise, regardless of whether they got the team or not. I watched Herbert throw 3 interceptions all year, and then the playoff game throw 5, and then talk about him only throwing 3. So I think these guys get all the credit for the numbers. But in today's football, which is different than back in the day, is you don't get credit for winning. And to me, that's like it's gone to the opposite extreme, where I think that it does matter when you win. I think it does matter. If Jalen Hurts only throws 15 times, that means he's got to be accurate on those 15 throws because he can't afford to mess any up. Okay, so to me, there's 2 ways to look at it. I think those guys they get all the credit in the world for the statistics.
But I'll say this, isn't that okay? So you are looking at Justin Herbert for that one playoff, and you're looking at him for that one playoff performance, and you hang your hat on that he's not a good quarterback, right?
What I'm saying is that he's not. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. What I'm saying is he hasn't proved to me that he can be a winning quarterback, and that's what I think matters most of all. Can he win the big game? Can he show up in the big game? And so far, what I've seen from him in big games has been really not that great.
I mean,
that doesn't mean he doesn't have talent. Of course, he's got tremendous talent, tremendous arm talent, all those things. But in the big game, where are you?
See, I look at Dak the way that that kind of Mark does. I personally, if Dak throws a lot of picks in playoffs, Mark, why aren't you fucking getting running backs in there? Why aren't you getting tight ends in there like the Eagles are doing for Hurts? They got a guy. I mean, you know what I would have did if I were you guys? I would have made every push to get Dallas Goedert and try to get that guy signed and weaken the Eagles and bring him over. Because you know what's going to happen to Dallas Goedert next year? He's going to Kansas City. He's going to go play with Mahomes. He's got his ring. He may get another one. Dallas fundamentally has made personnel decisions the last 30 years that have not been good for Romo and also for Dak.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I think it's going to be an interesting year. I think they're better. I think the Cowboys are better. But how much better? I think that's going to be a real test here, man. September 4th, guys. I can't wait. Philly, I appreciate you taking time. Mark,
yeah, man.
Enjoy your vacation, buddy.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys so much, man.
Peace. Thank you.
I appreciate these guys, man. Absolutely taking time out of their day to come aboard with us. I'm gonna say it again, man. I personally think again that the Cowboys, I mean, it's been 30 years. And the decision making that they've made in the building has just not been good enough when it comes to personnel. They can't even get the coach. You know, I heard Mark talking about the new coach, okay? I mean, when has Dallas got the coach right outside of Parcells? I mean, when have they gotten that right? They haven't. How could Mark talk shit saying Dak is 9-4 against the Eagles, but when they get beat in the playoffs, it's a team asking for a friend? Rob, I'll say this to you about this. There's no doubt the second season is the most important when it comes to quarterbacks and where you're going to gauge them. Dak Prescott plays pretty consistent football from the September all the way through to the regular season. Where they shit the bed the same way the Baltimore Ravens do with Lamar. I mean, they come out of their identity. You know what the identity of the Dallas Cowboys should be? Run the fucking ball, not throw the ball. You lean on Dak. Get this. How many quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl that have thrown the ball? Who? Mahomes and Brady. Mahomes and Brady are generational players. Okay? Jalen Hurts didn't have to play great all year. He was good. I disagree with John. I don't think he was bad. And I think the Eagles just said that they were cookie cutter. Stafford, that's a good one too. Stafford threw the shit out of the ball. He did. You guys are right. Stafford threw the shit out of the ball. Okay? Stafford's a generational thrower too. I'll say it one more time to you guys. Dude, it is not a diss on Hurts when you say this. I don't need him to play great for 4. I really don't. Patrick Mahomes couldn't play great for 3 weeks. Not even he could do it. To do that week in and year out. I mean, listen, Patrick Mahomes getting beat by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Think of what I'm going to say here. They got beat in the Super Bowl in the 3rd year going to the game. I don't know about you. I think that's still quite an accomplishment for that Chiefs team. 3 straight. The only franchise in Philly history that's ever gone to 2 straight are the Flyers. That was in the 70s. What the Chiefs have done is remarkable. If they go back, they'll tie the Bills. But the difference will be they got 2 rings. and maybe 3 and 4 years. That's unprecedented. I mean, here, some of the playoff teams. Oh, by the way, so I put my PFF top 10. Get this, Xander, so you know, it's good to see WIP put a poll up, taking our content yesterday, talking about, do you think it's fair? Go back and look what I posted on my Twitter account, my X account. I said, do you think it's fair that Nick Sirianni is ranked, I think it was 7th by PFF? They put the same one up. So I'm glad they watched the show. Guys, it's all good. You know, copying someone's flattery. So I'm great with it. Thank you very much. All these teams are going to have all the contenders. Okay? The Chiefs were depleted. They have been. You can't keep losing guys like Snead, Honey Badger, Tyreek Hill, and not replace them and then get older at key positions like tight end. Travis Kelce is not going to help that offense this year. It's going to be Xavier Worthy that's got to help him. Okay? Every team's going to have an issue. Here, I wrote these things down here. Every single team. Here's Buffalo. Let's go here with Buffalo. Okay? I mean, who are you throwing to? Who are you throwing to? Rashid Rice? Who's that? Do you think Rashid Rice could start in Philly? Ibanez, do you think Rashid Rice could start in Philly? He ain't starting in Philly. Do you? Okay. Mr. International, do you think he could start in Philly? Where? He's the number 1. Oh, so Kansas City's number 1 would start in the 3-hole over Dotson, who doesn't get any targets. Doesn't work like that. He's not starting over A.J. Brown. Oh, so wait. RC3, you're going to turn a 1 and put him into 3. Oh, I see. Well, that's not exactly how you do it, but okay. The guy's not that great. I completely agree with you. Dotson might actually be better. Here's Baltimore. The O-line. They got to be as good as Philly. Okay? They got to be as good as Philly, man. Kansas City. I mean, okay, the O-line. I think the O-line got exposed by the Eagles. Detroit, agreed. Okay, OC and DC. The Rams, Father Time caught up with Stafford. Washington, how deep are you? I mean, I think they've gotten better. They've added better. Get this. I don't care what people think about the players they added. They added better players. But they're older. They added better players. They went to the NFC title game with an offensive line that gave up the most pressures of any O-line in football. Do you know that? They drafted a kid and they signed Tunsil. All right. Guys, our great friend at Morgan & Morgan, we appreciate these guys being a sponsor of the program. I can't thank them enough. The number 1 injury law firm in America for a reason. You know why? It's because they win. And they win big. Whenever you see Morgan & Morgan coming, you know without a fact that this is going to be something that you're going to have your family protected, because this is what Ultima Morgan and John Morgan built over 30 years ago. If you're hurt in an Uber, if you see what's going on in California with all the homes and all the insurance companies canceling homeowners insurance, and you see the devastation there in North Carolina or down in Florida or anywhere across the country, if you're ever injured, please do me a favor and check out our great friends at Morgan & Morgan by going forthepeople.com/big sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sills or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sill sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Michael Irvin. Very cool. Michael Irvin just liked my tribute to Jerome Brown. June 25th. I mean, started the program out with that. I've had so many people texting me, thanking me for reminding. A bunch of Eagles. I even got believe it or not, I got a nice text from Seth Joyner saying, thanks for always remembering. And I don't know why I just, 1992. There it is right there. See this right here? We had a guy earlier who thought he was a smart ass. Let me take this picture here. This is pretty cool. And so you guys know here, I want to show you something. I'm going to take the picture here with this because it's easier to show you this way than anything else here. Yeah. So let me show you this. I think I may have shown some of you this. But this is, I think I have that down there. This was given to all of us on the at the funeral. The funeral was after when he died, June 25th. It was July 2nd at the First Baptist Church. Willie Jerome Brown, III, and Augustus Wesley Brown. Reggie spoke that day. Man, you had to be around Reggie. Reggie was he was really a complex dude. Jerome loved him. Those two guys are the two best tandems of defensive tackles and defensive linemen you have ever had. You will never in your careers ever see anything in Philadelphia ever again like that front four. Clyde Simmons is 120. He's as great as BG is. Do you understand? He's nowhere near Clyde Simmons. Clyde Simmons is 127 or 30 sacks. It's like insane. And he was considered the third dude on that D line. Jerome was a 3-time Pro Bowler already in just his 4 years that he played in Philly. And Reggie, like I said, Reggie White is this conversation. Reggie's this conversation. Okay, well, Lawrence Taylor's better. Okay, well, I'll take Reggie. Reggie's better. Okay, I'll take LT. That's how close those two guys are to the pure dominance. And Jerome played next to him. I asked him, what was it like playing next to Reggie? And he's like, the hump move. You all see it on film. Pull up the YouTubes. And Jerome would say, this guy he's the strongest man I've ever seen in pro football history. I'm not talking about weight room stuff. He just picked dudes up like Larry Allen and threw them on their heads. Never seen anything like it. It was superhuman. He was just a superhuman dude. It was like a superhero. And, Reggie would come down to Brooksville and I'd go up. We'd hang out. It would be me, Andre Waters. It'd be me, Andre Waters. Mark Carrier was a receiver with me in Tampa, and we would hang out when we were younger. And he was with the Eagles and I was with the Buccaneers. And then Jerome and I would take a trip down and we would drive down to Miami. And we would go down. And you know what we would do? There was Cortez Kennedy. There was Mark Caesar. There were all these guys down there. You know what we would do? Here, let me read something to you. A couple things that they wrote about Jerome and I and just how great it was. I got a great picture of the three of us. And it was just phenomenal hanging around him and being around and being part of the history of that. Really was. Here, let me read this to you. This is from the Miami Herald, what Jimmy said. We're not as physical at D-line as what we've been, said Coach Jimmy Johnson. We considered both Sileo and Brown last year's tackles, first-round picks. It's completely unrealistic to think that we would be, and there would not be a drop-off this year. They ended up winning the national title. Here, this one. This is another great one from the Sun Sentinel. The most meaningful comparison, however, could be with Miami's 86 line. Jerome Brown, Bill Hawkins, Danny Stubbs, Dan Sileo, Tampa Bay, 49ers, Rams, and Eagles. And they were talking about Cortez Kennedy's line. And he said, while this line's unit statistically is far superior to the 86 squad, it was that line which helped set the tone for Miami's flamboyant in ferocious defenses of the future. That's why films of the 86 team are must view for this year's players and players to come in the future on how you play defensive line at Miami. It was because of me playing next to that guy. Just being part of that. It's the greatest line. It's one of the greatest lines of college football history. I mean, I don't think anybody scored on us more than 10 points. I know we had like 4 shutouts. Okay? I thought Russell was good. I thought he was a good ball player. First pick in the draft, I never thought that. So I could smell Xander BS from North Carolina. Hey, listen here, Kyle. You're automatically going to get on Big Z's shit list. Hurricanes at Gators, 86. First television snap, Jerome in for a pressure, incomplete. If you watch that game some more, Forrest, I had a big sack in that game. I think I broke, if I'm not mistaken, I think I hurt the quarterback's spleen in that game. Oh, man, we had 14 sacks in that game. I'm not kidding. Forrest, we had 14 sacks in that game. It's a true statement. Have you ever heard anything like it? We had 14 sacks. I had 2. Stubbs had 4. Jerome had 3. Hawkins had 3. Our backups, everyone lacerated. That's what it was, Yale. Kerwin Bell became a teammate of mine years later in the pros. And he said that he goes like this. He goes, yeah, Sileo lacerated my kidney. And he ended up playing in the Kentucky game. Yeah. Hey, Forrest, you know why I didn't start in that game? I'll tell you the story why I didn't start in that game. So Coach Johnson didn't like when I would always say this, because the media came to me and they would always go like this. They would go, hey, you really played great and all this and that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why I'm not starting. I play 90% of the game and they don't start me. Well, Jimmy would tell me all the time, and I told some of you the story. Coach Johnson would say this shit to me. He goes, well, until you start talking better, you're never going to start here. I don't give a shit how good you are. And you heard him. He called me a first rounder and all this. And he's like, you'll never start here. So the next week after the Gator game, okay, I forget who we're playing. I think we were playing Texas Tech or South Carolina or somebody. And I remember they came to me and they go, hey, you had a really great game. You had 13 tackles in the Florida game. I did. 2 sacks. I just killed the guy in front of me. I just was all over the place. 5 tackles for losses. And he just goes like this. And I go, yeah, well, I'm glad to be here. I'm a small piece of the puzzle. You know, sure enough, I never start. I started every game after that. He came to me and he goes, now you're getting it now. He goes, ugh. And see, I'm a big shit talker, as you guys know. Okay? Sills just told Philly 500 Josh Allen's roster is not as good as the Eagles. I do agree. But you, sir, said the Bills are number 1 roster in the AFC. I never said that. I've never said that the Bills have the number 1 roster in the AFC. It's a good take. I never said that. In my entire life, have I ever said the Buffalo Bills have a great roster? I've never said that. I've never in a million years said that. I don't even know where I said they have the best quarterback. I have never said the Bills have the best roster. The Ravens, here's who I would say have the best roster. The Ravens, Kansas City, and Buffalo have dog shit rosters. I would say the Ravens, let me take a look at that. This guy, Philadelphia, just made that up. Let's see here. I'll rank the rosters, not the quarterbacks, the rosters. In the AFC, here, Ravens, Texans, Broncos. As a matter of fact, there's really not a lot. There's really not a lot of good rosters. Here, look at this. Here, let me rank the best rosters. Let's put the Eagles for shits and giggles, number one. We'll go Eagles. What's the second best roster in the NFL in football? Detroit. What's third? Baltimore, okay. What's four? The Rams. 5, the Texans. How many teams are really that good in the AFC this year? They got really great. Tampa 7. 6, I mean. 7 would be who? Tampa's got a better roster than the Broncos. Washington 7. 8. Man, the AFC, I don't see it. Kansas City and Buffalo do not have good rosters. The Dolphins, no. Baltimore, yes. Pittsburgh? Texans, yes. Chargers? Eagles, Commanders, yes. Minnesota has a better roster. I'm not talking quarterbacks. Shit, San Francisco's got a better roster. Then I'll put Denver 10. You got 3 teams from the AFC that would be in the top 10. I mean, look at this. Look at Yale's line. He's got these guys as the best rosters. Rams, Washington, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, and Tampa. There's no AFC. There's not one AFC team. As a team, probably 13th. 13th best. Kansas City's like the 15th best. Can't go Bengals because their defensive personnel sucks. I mean, look, here's my top 10 rosters. I'm not talking quarterbacks or anything here. Let me take the quarterbacks off the team. Eagles, Detroit, Baltimore, Rams, Texans, Tampa, Washington, Minnesota, San Francisco, and then Denver. I'd probably put Denver ahead of Green Bay. You got 3 teams in the AFC. Only Baltimore, in my opinion, has a team that can compete in the NFC. I think the NFC is better. Here, and that's always a great question. Would you rather have a top, get this. This shows you my conversation all the time about the quarterbacks. I mean, look, the top quarterbacks in the game are not even on this list. Okay, Eagles have 1. Jared Goff. Okay, that's Goff. Is he top 10 guy? Baltimore has 1. Lamar. Rams. Stafford still a top 10? Okay, so he's still a top 10 guy. Okay. Texans, Stroud. Stafford. or excuse me, Mayfield, Washington, Minnesota doesn't have one. Whatever you think of Brock Purdy, Denver doesn't have one. Would you rather have the top flight quarterback, or would you rather have the best roster? I'd rather have the best roster because my quarterback doesn't have to play great every week. I'd rather build my team the way that the Eagles have built their team than the way that you build a team like Buffalo. Buffalo has not gotten better pre-Josh Allen. Let me ask you this. Do you guys believe the Eagles have gotten better as a unit and as a team since Jalen Hurts has become a player there? Have they advanced the roster every year? Have they made the roster better? Okay, absolutely. You think the Cincinnati Bengals have made the Cincinnati Bengal roster better since Joe Burrow's got to Cincinnati? Do you think that? Okay. Now, Lamar, you guys are right. They have with Lamar. They've made it better for Lamar. Do you think the Buffalo Bills have made the roster better since Josh Allen has been the quarterback in Buffalo? No. Where have they made the roster better? Name me one position. Name me one position that they've made Buffalo better. Yeah, Allen's gotten better. He has. The O-line hasn't gotten better. It's not true. They're still one of the worst O-lines in football. Devin Bush has gotten better. He is. He's gotten better. Yeah, they brought Diggs there, and Josh Allen won the MVP when they got rid of him. Sills, Allen made the team better before the Bills were irrelevant. Absolutely my case. See, Jalen has had such great fortune. It's not a rip. It's a talking of his journey. It's not a rip. When you're at Alabama, Oklahoma, and Philadelphia, the chances of success for you are going to be awful high. It's a great thing. Every player should be afforded that opportunity to fulfill the maximum potential that player has. Get this. James Cook is a good player, but at the end of the day, he's no Saquon Barkley. Okay, I mean, some of those receivers they have in Buffalo, I mean, they're just dudes. Bills have so much potential, but their roster's not good. See, that again, remember what I started the program out with you guys? The hidden advantages of Philadelphia having homegrown dudes. And those guys growing guys from within the organization and then taking free agents and adding those guys to loose ends is what is making them 10 times better than the Cowboys and everybody else in the NFL. Do you understand that? I mean, all across your O-line. Look at Chicago. I pointed this out to you. Chicago, they had to go out and piecemeal their O-line. They got the kid from Kansas City. They got the guy from the Rams. They've got other numerous parts to add to the O-line for Caleb Williams. You think that O-line's going to be good because they added pieces from other teams? That's not how that works. Name me an offensive line that you saw piecemealed before that ended up being successful. Show me a piecemeal O-line, and I'll show you a disaster. That Cowboy O-line that was with Emmitt Smith when I was in Dallas. Think about what I'm saying here, okay? Nate Newton was a USFL cast-off. He wasn't even considered that good a player in the USFL. He was okay. But Tom Landry and Hudson Howe thought he was somebody good. They brought him in, okay? They signed him. He was playing pretty decent. They drafted Kevin Gogan. They drafted Crawford Kirk. They drafted Tom Rafferty. They drafted Nate Newton, or they drafted Mark Tuney. All those guys, the majority of them were all homegrown. I mean, Nate wasn't an NFL draft pick. Nate was a free agent sign that played in the USFL first. I think he's a FAMU dude. They added those pieces because they were homegrown guys. And that's the formula you have to. I don't believe you could just sign O-line. Like all the teams that sign these O-linemen, bro, those lines never pan out. Guys get injured. Okay? I mean, where you are dominant, every single guy almost on the D-line and every single guy in the O-line has become a dude that has been grown through the ranks and has been developed. There are no pity parties for playoff teams. So this Bills teams was better than the Eagles and missed their window. Where were they better, Jeffrey? Where were the Bills better? Name me one place where they were better. What are you talking about better? They never had better receivers. They've never had a better running back. They've never had a better defense. They surely have never had a better O-line. That is not true. The window is Allen. It's not that roster. Roster's garbage. They're not awful on defense. And by the way, Jeffrey, you must have missed it. A year ago, they cut $68 million off their payroll. They had to cut money a year ago, nearly $70 million. So when you say that, it's not true. They're running circles around the other Philly teams. Phillies, hey, here. Draft always beats free agency. I'd rather develop from scratch than undo bad habits or bad fits. JD3, remember, and I appreciate the super. Thank you, brother. When you sign a guy, like all these guys that you signed, all these players that you signed, these guys like Uche and Ojari and those guys are dudes that might fit or might not fit. What you have is that you have a coordinator that will do this. Well, let me see if I can make it fit. I'll say this to you. I think Vic Fangio and Jim Johnson have a lot in common. They are not going to put a defense out there that does not sit and fit the skill set of the players you have on your roster. They are not going to come to work, and they're not going to have a set 34, 43, or a bear front. They're going to look at the guys that they have. And you know what Vic's doing? He's like a mad scientist right now. Vic is looking at the pieces right now, and they're doing this. Okay? Get this. Let's look at this here. They've had a pretty good defense. throwing ducks in the ground, so overrated. And that's why that guy's fucking an MVP. It's because he was great for 17 straight weeks. And he's got a horseshit offense. Name me one offensive guy on that team that you think's in the top 20 players in the NFL outside of the running back. Name me another one. That's a top 20 player on offense. There's none. Again, the same metric you use for Hurts, you have to slide it across for the rest of them. Well, Jalen plays and has a great football team around him. And he does. It's not a rip. Well, Burrow and Allen don't have great teams. Okay, that doesn't make them bad players. Because they don't win in the playoffs. It's because, quite frankly, they don't have a good enough team. What Mahomes has done is insane. Here, Matthew, let me ask you a question one more time. Okay, Matthew, what do you think is harder to do? Play 6-7 months, consistent football, and be the regular season MVP? Or do you think it's easier to win one game? What do you think? Do you think it's harder to play great for 7 months or to win one game? Which is harder to accomplish, in your opinion? Playing great for 7 months or winning one game? Common sense. But get this. Winning one game, he thinks is harder than playing consistent football for 7 months. Okay. It's a lie. That guy has to play great. See, this right here, Mahomes hasn't been the same since Bieniemy left. That's not true. They beat San Francisco without him in the Super Bowl. That is not true. And they've been to 2 straight without him. How has he not looked the same? You mean because the personnel on the team has gotten older and not looked good? Okay? I didn't ask you if it wasn't hard to do. I asked you, what do you think is harder to do? Play great football for 7 months or play great in one game? It's not what I asked you. Oh, look at this guy. Let me ask you this. Who was the MVP of the Eagles last year? Hurts or Barkley? Who played better for 7 weeks or 7 months? And who played good in one game? Who was your MVP a year ago? This will answer it all. Who was the Eagles MVP? Who was the Eagles MVP? Who was the Eagles MVP? Because they have bad teams. Because they have bad teams. And you win because you have good teams. Simple. I mean, you're not going to penalize the one guy for having a good team. You can't penalize the other guy for having a shitty team. Like Xander said, hey, the Eagles had a great defense. Well, I mean, Joe Burrow took the 28th ranked defense and the 28th ranked offensive line to a Super Bowl. That's about as good as that guy's going to do in Cincinnati. Absolutely, that's correct. It's not our problem. But you got to put it in context. I love it how people will use one metric to fit that narrative, but when you use that same metric on someone else, it's not the same. It's ridiculous. By the way, I've said it before to you, and I'll say it again. I really love what Michael Irvin's doing here. Michael sent me a direct message honoring Jerome Brown. He goes, yeah, people don't say it enough. You know, got a lot of people missing Jerome. Hey, D. Brown just reached out to me, by the way. That's Jerome's kid. And he goes, hey, man, the old man really loves what you're doing. So I love that. I always check on D, and I hadn't checked on him. I was going to check on him tonight. Yeah. Hurts even said he had to get better with the passing game. It's no secret. That's okay, man. Hey, listen, that guy played great in that football game. Dude, I asked you a question, not to segment it. Who do you think was the MVP of your football team a year ago? Barkley or Hurts? Can you not answer it? Or you don't want to? Why is it so hard? I agree with you, Kimberly. I agree with you 100%. If Lamar Jackson does not win the Super Bowl this year, that will – you want to hear this? Get this. I'll make this point to you. Kimberly, you tell me if you agree with this. If Lamar Jackson does not win the Super Bowl this year, that will expand Jalen Hurts' presence in the league more because he's won with great players around him. Is that fair? Right? I mean, if he doesn't win this year, I think that makes Jalen Hurts look better. Because what would be the excuse? You got a Hall of Fame coach in John Harbaugh. Okay? You have a Hall of Fame guy. You've got a great left tackle. You got a very good O-line, top 3. You've got Zay Flowers. You got a great tight end. You've got a Hall of Fame running back who still looks like he's in a prime mode. You got a quarterback that's playing iconic football, and your defense has gotten better. You had the kid Green from Marshall. I mean, I'm not sure what else you fucking need. Barkley was the MVP of the entire NFL. I agree. He was third in voting. The point is moot. There's only 2 players in the NFL that had a bigger impact than Barkley. Let's get real. Boy, I don't know, man. I mean, Saquon Barkley, knowing that you're going to carry the football like that, and I think it's a jaded, I think the MVP is now jaded. I really do. I think it's jaded. That guy was the best player in the league. I can't tell you how many times I sat there, and I've said it to you guys numerous times. I said this. I'm like, that guy's going to hit his head on the goalpost. That guy's going to hit his head on the goalpost. I mean, if the Ravens don't adapt throwing 25 passes per game and running it the other, fire the OC. Todd Monken's done a great job, too. The Eagles gave them the blueprint. The Ravens have improved on defense. You are so right. Hey, you want to hear something? Kyle, do me a favor. Look at the last 2 passing games against Kansas City in the playoffs. I think it's 35 passes and 41. Why are you doing that? You're not going to beat Kansas City throwing the ball 41 times. You're not going to outthrow that guy. if both defenses are even in the game, you're not going to out Mahomes. And for whatever reason, they get into the playoffs and they feel they have to get into a pitch and catch matchup with Kansas City. I mean, you throw the ball almost 70 times in 2 games, and you have Derrick Henry and Lamar. How are you not running it? That makes no sense. They come unglued from their identity. And believe it or not, that's like, I mean, it's such bad coaching. And it's so un-John Harbaugh, who's won a Super Bowl. The Eagles do this. We're not going to throw the ball 1,000 times. We're just not. Why would I? Common sense. I mean, you've got Saquon. Get this. This is going to sound crazy. If Saquon Barkley has the same type of year he had a year ago, and Jalen Hurts throws for 2,900 yards again, that means you're 14-3. I think if Jalen Hurts throws for 4,500 yards and is high in that number, something happened to the run game. Somebody got hurt. If Hurts goes over that number, you're going to be playing from behind. Let me ask you guys this. How many games a year ago did the Eagles play from behind? Can you guys remember that you played from behind heading into the fourth quarter? How many games were you behind? I don't believe you were behind at all in the playoffs. I might be wrong with that. How many games did you play from behind? I mean, 1 or 2? I don't remember that team being behind, especially after the bye. Maybe I can't recall if you guys were not either ahead. I mean, I can't think of any. Was it Pittsburgh? No. Maybe it was Washington. Maybe it was Washington. All right, guys. Hey, our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, make sure you guys do me a favor and please check them out. The number one injury law firm in all of America, and it's there for a reason. It's because they win. That's right. Tampa was the one. And speaking of that, John helped the family down in Florida. They were initially offered $350,000. They ended up getting $12 million. Another family got $30 million right here in Pennsylvania. They were initially offered $650K. Even if you're hurt in Ubers, you're hurt anywhere. If you ever think you've been injured, there's only one place to call, and that is Morgan & Morgan. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Once again, make sure you get my friend Billy Godfather's book. A little love there at the beginning, too. Didn't see that. Big sales. Love the fact that Jacob. There we go. Little love with Jacob there. How you doing? All good, right? There's Jacob. I told you earlier. When the package came with the book, my wife said that make sure the package don't blow up. I'm like, hey, no, he's a good dude. This is also this is the movie I'm going to be in. My wife goes, you better get your hips in shape here, buddy, if you're going to be in a movie. I'm going to be a biker guy. So to be in this movie. By the way, they cut the deal with Netflix from what I understand. This thing's actually happening. Good for him, man. I really like the guy. Probably going to get him on Friday, man. I like him. Talk about the book a little more here. He's been killing it, too, also on his bets. So I love it. Again, absolutely cool, man. Guy's had a crazy life. I'm not allowed to write a book. Okay? Denny, thank you. Hey, salute you guys. Yeah, I'm not allowed to write a book. That's not going to work. Yeah, I'm not allowed to tell secrets. And this is how we answer the door here at my house. If somebody knocks on the door, is Kim or Dan here? It's like, no, they don't live here any longer. Yeah, I'm not allowed to do that. No, we don't. I'm not, because I'm not allowed to have any secrets or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, no, they don't live here. Does Kim Sileo live here? No. Never heard of her. I've been divorced for about 20 years. And that's what I got to say. Is Dan here? No, that's not going to cut it. Yeah, so, no, but look at this, man. It's a dope book. I'm going to start reading it here. This guy's had a crazy, interesting life, man. Good. There's pictures. I'm a picture guy. I'm big on drawing books, This guy's really dope. He's got really a great story. I'm going to hit him up for some money for the program. That's what I'm going to. This guy's awesome, man. I dig this. All right, guys. Guys are absolutely awesome. I appreciate it. I think we're getting Chris Sims tomorrow. Okay, so one of the Philadelphia favorites, Chris Sims. So you guys can beat him up in the chat. Hey, Emre, it's all good, brother. I appreciate you very much. You guys are absolutely great. 2 to 6, Big Joe, Xander, thank you. And we shall see you on the flip side.